These top 16 players will battle in the quarterfinals. Who will win and make it to the semifinals? Let's find out right now. Our first player is Light Pink Yoshi, and for this hand he reaches his dealer and...
Reachだよ.
Oh no, what looks like a safe tile is deadly. It's the perfect trap to win him an Ipot's dealer Hanuman.
Run! Reach 一発3色同順ドラにドラ羽マン
Next up, we have Red Panda in a dangerous situation, and they reach and win a Ipot Tsutsumo Hanuman.
リーチリーチつも天罰よ下りたまえリーチ一発つもタンヤオドラドラ羽マン
This time it's June who shows them how it's done and wins a stylish 7 pairs with Uratu for the dealer Hanuman.
つもごめんなさいねリーチつもチートイドラに羽マン
For Ipot's Johnny, it's also no problem as he wins at dealer Hanuman in a flash for over 20,000 points.
つもリーチつもタンヤオ3色同順ドラ羽マン
Next we have Legis Ricci with a very lightweight and pure double chance, and there it is! Immediately rewarded.
リーチ一発ピンフイーペイコータンヤオドラに羽マン
And now Paradigm with this early Ricci winning on the weaker side, but of course, flipping the Ura 3 for the Baiman.
ロンそれちょうだいリーチドラ2ドラ2ドラ3バイマン
Going points for points with Paradigm, we have Jaffa Orange setting the tone of the match with a beautiful hand. Ricci, half outside, 3 concealed triplets,
ロン
and Ura 2 for an early Baimon.
リーチハクニャンタニャンアンコードレネコにバイニャン
And finally, we have Chris Gong,
リーチよ
blessed with speed, winning an unbelievably fast dealer Ricci Ipatsu Hanuman.
つもどう
First up, we have Buckets opening up with a monster on the very first hand, bringing home the double ace half flush triplets for a huge dealer Hanuman right off the bat.
ロン
Next up, Suzume dominates the game as the dealer with 2 dealer Mongons.
忍法リーチの術
This one, a reach E-Pot start 2.
ロン忍法展望盗みの術リーチ一発ドラマンガン
Meanwhile, Sonic's VN, Richie as the dealer. Doesn't look like much to start, but you know what's coming. We're at 3 to confirm the Mangan. You'll love to see it.
ロンリーチドラさんマンガン
And we have Sparrowhawk going all in for this full flush with a tricky 569 weight. And get set, Sumo, an impressive hand for an already impressive lead.
おつも鎮逸マンガン
Another player who qualified, Bobrick, crushing this game by winning 2 dealer Mongons. This one with a cut of ease and winning the red 5.
リーチトン座布団ドラマンガン
Oh, wins 9 hands in a single game, starting with this dealer Mongon and ends the game with almost 100,000 points? Oh, I can definitely see how they qualified.
つもやっと来たリーチつもイーペイコードラにマンガン
Fiat, a Catfood veteran, secures their spot in the quarterfinals by winning this incredible single weight 4 concealed triplets. Definitely feeling like a main character after him like that.
つもごめんなさいね ツーアンコウ短期役満リーチ G
And finally, it's Sully who tops the leaderboard with a dizzying 100,000 point game. This Hanuman is only the first of 6 straight hands as dealer.
ロン正義の裁きを受けよリーチピンフイーペイコータンヤオドラ
And that wraps up the roster for the top 16 of the Catfood Minor #Sweet Wonders. Who are you cheering for? The tournament will continue soon, so I hope you're excited to watch some amazing live Mahjong. For more highlights like these, exciting live tournaments, and all things Mahjong Soul, make sure to subscribe to the channel today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Catfood Bull Miner #Sweet Wonders. I'm your MC and host, Tips and Tricks, an English Reachy streamer and commentator. You can catch me at twitch.tv/tipsandtricks on Tuesdays usually. But sometimes I'm doing events like this here on Mahjong Soul's official channel. And with me is Tenhote. How you doing, Tenhote? A new face to this stream?
I'm doing great. I am super excited to be here. We have some of the top competition in North America competing tonight in this top 16 in this quarterfinals. Me, Tenhote, I'm a Richie Mahjong commentator, and I do some beginner strategy videos. We have Tier List Tuesday, and if you like the anime Akagi, which has a collab character in Mahjong Soul, I recently did a song cover for the opening to that anime.
Oh, very cool, very cool. But here today, we are announcing, commentating, and making sure that our Cat Food Bowl tournament goes smoothly. We have 16 players here who have made it through the 100 player scramble. So first of all our players had to make Master 2 in the ladder. And that on its own is not even an easy task. But then they applied to be in the Cat Food Bowl. Top 100 were chosen. And our players played in a 3-day scramble. So they played in the 3-day scramble. Their best score was determined from their best 3 consecutive games. So 3 in a row, not just 3 cherry-picked, but their best 3-game streak. And the top 16 moved on to today. Their scores have also been zeroed out, so any advantage that they gained through the scramble phase has been removed, I guess you could say. But, of course, they needed to get those high scores to get here. They had to make some really high scores, because 3 games is not exceptionally long, so we saw some hundreds, we saw some plus 150s. Some pretty exciting stuff. Of course, in the yellow here highlighted, that's today, our quarterfinals. They will be playing 3 games, and they'll all be cumulatively added to their score. The first game will be seeded from the score they got in the scramble, the previous tournament. Or, sorry, not the previous tournament, but the previous section. And the second and third games will be seeded from their current score. So we might see players playing each other multiple times if their scores just end up that way, but hopefully we get to see a bunch of different players, and here on the stream we'll try and get some screen time for all of our different players. The top 8 will move on after today, after that third game. Their scores will not be zeroed out though, they will be halved going into the semifinals. And the semifinals will be more of the same, but there will be only 8 players instead of 16. After those 3 games, the top 4 will be moving on. And so just like the amount of players, the scores will be halved as well. And then the finals will be another 3 games until we see our champion. Our players today are top 16 qualified. You've seen them through the initial highlights this past week on the Mahjong Soul official X channel, as well as Facebook and the Discord. Our first place with only, I think, 5 or 6 games in total. Suli Derduli, right? All the way up there at the top. Tenhote. Who else do we have here on this list?
Well, we've got Act, we've got You, we've got Bobrick, Sparrowhawk, Sonics VN, Suzume, Buckets at number 8. And then moving over to the right here, we've got Chris Gong 27, Jaffa Orange, Paradigm, Legis, Ipatsu Johnny, who hit top 16 in that 13th spot with just 3 games, and they needed 3 consecutive games to get here. Living up to that Ipatsu name, absolutely incredible. Then we got Chun Man, Red Panda, and Light Pink Yoshi.
Yeah, I think that's a little crazy. Someone named Ipatsu Johnny Ipatsu's their way into top 16, playing the minimum amount of games, just 1 shot, and they made it in. Truly, that is that's some lore right there. Ipatsu. We'll see if Johnny can keep up his Ipatsu streak during the playoffs, or will he be Ipatsu out here in the first round?
Who knows? Who knows? It'll be exciting to watch either way.
So, at the beginning I had mentioned that the players are going to be seeded by their placement in the scramble. So while all the scores are 0, they're all zeroed out, their scramble scores did determine the first tables that they will be playing at in this top 16. So we've got Suli Derduli, our first place. You can see they're color-coded on the right there. 1, 8, 9, and 16. with Buckets, Chris Gong 27, and Light Pink Yoshi. So that's going to be table number 1. Table number 2, The Active, Suzume, Jaffa Orange, Red Panda. Table 3, we've got 14 U's, Sonics VN, Paradigm, and Chun Man there. And on table number 4, we've got Bobrick, Sparrowhawk, Legius, and Ipatsu Johnny. So here we are with our tables. Our players have been mentioned. Our commentating staff has been introduced. But there is, I suppose, one more, how do I say this? Guest we would like to introduce to the stream. And that is, of course, our prizes for the tournament. And it's no small event here. Our first place gets the priority pass to the advanced tournaments. We've seen Catfood Bowl majors, collaborations with other servers. So that priority pass is very nice, as well as a $300 Amazon e-gift card, 10,000 Jade, 30-day Fortune Charm. That limited champion title, we can see it right here. Looks very springish. I'm kind of waiting for it already. It's pretty cold here. You can see the sakura petals on the Catfood Bowl champion. The limited portrait frame, the physical trophy, and the physical merchandise, the special acrylic picture stand. Second place there, $150 Amazon e-gift card, 8,000 Jade, the limited portrait frame, the fortune charm, and the acrylic picture stand. Third place with the $100 Amazon e-gift card, 6,000 Jade, the limited portrait frame, the fortune charm, and the special acrylic gift stand. Fourth place with the $70 Amazon e-gift card, 4,000 Jade, the limited portrait frame, the fortune charm, and the special acrylic picture stand. Fifth to eighth place will be taking a 2,000 Jade package with the fortune charm and the special acrylic picture stand. And 9th to 16th, those eliminated today will still be receiving a fortune charm. So that's going to be pretty exciting. There's rewards for everyone for making it this far into the playoffs. Hope they all enjoy it. And we hope you all watch here at home and stick around, because there's also some rewards for you for watching. We've got gift codes so that everyone can redeem at some point during the stream. Stick around for that. Make sure to stay tuned. As well as some lucky draws, so maybe you can take home something like this. Woo! That is a long prize section, Tenhote.
Yeah, well, a lot of prizes for some of the best players in North America. As you were saying, the cutoff was Master 2. That's probably close to the top 10% of players here. A lot of these players are Saint level players. That's like top 3%, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's also Celestial players in this tournament. The best of the best. This is going to be some of the best Mahjong you're going to see, at least so far in 2025.
That's right. I remember on the last anniversary stream, it was actually revealed that of all the players with a ranked game, Saint is actually top 0.25% of the player base. So a 1/4%. Very high level gaming there. And our players are getting underway. For fairness purposes, we do have a 5-minute delay. And so we cannot get quite underway yet, but in terms of our players here, who do you like so far?
Well, just based off the names, we have Ipatsu Johnny, the People's Champion, I think, you know, getting here in 3 games, living up to the Ipatsu moniker. For me personally, there's a player named Red Panda, right? Uses Yuzu as their character. Red Panda is my personal favorite animal. Absolutely brilliant name. That's how, you know, I'm choosing to root for people in this. So there's reasons to root for absolutely every single player in this, because they're all top flight. They're all very, very good players. So whatever you want to choose, whatever you want to stick to, you know, whenever I was watching the highlights videos before this, I saw that Buckets, who's in the 8th seed here, their favorite Yaku is 7 pairs. My favorite Yaku is 7 pairs. I might be rooting for buckets. I don't know.
So it sounds like you're undecided. It's a good idea to be undecided, I think, with 16 people in the list, because I guess that means you don't necessarily have to say goodbye after day one, because we are going to have to say goodbye to half our players. Of course, they're not going home empty-handed, but it is inevitable, although a little bit sad truth, that in order to get to the top, we have to eliminate more players than winners. Personally, I like Mr. or Mrs. 14 U's. You. I think I said that right. For making our jobs hard back here, both on commentary and our graphics designers who are putting the slides together. Thanks for keeping things interesting. Of course, we have some Cat Food Bowl veterans like The Active. We've got Bobrick here. We've got Light Pink Yoshi. And, you know, I've met a number of these players. Almost all of them. I've faced them either in tournaments or on in ranked matches. So
yeah,
it's
I'm the same way.
Yeah. Irene mentioning that she had an interesting time with the highlight reel for her coverage of you of ooh.
You made me count the number of views whenever you said that. I had to check just to make sure it is 14.
Yeah, it's funny because they have to count it every time they log in, right? I mean, okay, maybe they automatically log in. But you have to remember how many views you have, otherwise it's gonna say invalid username. I always wonder about that a little bit. Whew. But wonder no more, because our first game has just begun. Alright, so what do we have here? Tenhote.
Well, we have a couple of shiny hands here, especially for Suli over here on the left, looking with 3 Dora to start out. Rather standard hand here at the very beginning in terms of discards and stuff like that. Seeing a lot of terminals and honors being discarded here. For buckets as dealer, they're going to want to get into this game. They're going to want to start getting some dealer repeats and move towards these different things. Definitely has good shapes in their hand. Got this 246 Ryanka and stuff like that that could end up being sort of like a chance to trick people into some other stuff now, but fills that shape there. And then over on the right, Chris Gong moving, getting some shapes in their hand, getting to pretty much like a one-away position here.
Yeah. Whew. So I wonder, Suli Darduli here, discarding the red 5 from the middle of their hand, even though they have the 3-4-5 mixed triples potential, even though the 5 is nearby the 6, it just doesn't quite fit into the fastest way to tempai for them for a ready hand. But I wonder if it was actually useful to keep that tile.
Yeah, it's interesting because typically whenever you see like a red 5, especially like a Reachy on a red 5, but in this case just the red 5 discard, other players are probably automatically thinking that a 1-4 or a 6-9 weight is possible and stuff like that, getting rid of those middle tiles early.
Right.
So it might cause people to choose their discards differently than they would otherwise here.
Yeah, and we have Suli Darduli. I noticed that they discarded the red 5 after the 6 of bamboos, or the 6-0 was discarded by Buckets here, our current dealer. And because they have the other 3 6s, that does mean that one side of the 5 is completely blocked off. So maybe that had something to do with why they discarded it, because they can only make 3-4-5 in that case.
It's going to be Seat Wind here for Chris Gong 27, finding a quick hand right off the bat. A lot of the players moving towards Tempai there, but Chris Gong finds it first with a swift victory, and they get their first dealership of the game here.
Yeah, definitely the least valuable of all the hands. In fact, that's the least valuable hand you can possibly make. But when it stops other players from winning, you'll take it. I mean, Chris Gong is first place right now.
Yeah, especially with tournament matches and different games where the stakes are so high, you want to be able to keep the game going. You want to keep things in your favor. And there's no stronger position than being in the dealer seat right now. So Chris Gong looking strong. But Light Pink Yoshi here is moving fast with this triplet of the East Wind that they just pawned here. So looking to move towards Tenpai there. Across the table, a slower hand for Suli here after sort of like losing in on that first match. And Buckets not quite there either. So it's going to be a battle between Chris Gong and Light Pink Yoshi, at least at the beginning here.
Yeah, Light Pink Yoshi was one away from Tenpai before this current draw. He's still one away from Tenpai, but after drawing the 3-so to match the 4-so, it's a much better shape. There's so many different ways to get Tenpai here. You can match up the 3-4 with a 2 or a 5. You can match up the 7-9 with an 8. You can even pair up either the 7 or the 9 to get to Tenpai. So big improvement, and we can see Chris Gong also maybe an improvement here. Maybe Chris Gong will get a 7-8-9 mixed triples.
And this is a really interesting decision here by Light Pink Yoshi to keep the Dora, trying to find some value here in this faster hand, finding that Tenpai super early. So already has the speed, now looking for the value here. And it's going to be Chris Gong doing something that I really like to see here. Keeping these, the 4 and the 7 of characters, keeping these floating tiles and stuff like that to bring things together a little bit faster than you could otherwise, looking for that double-sided shape on either of those floating tiles.
Right.
Not quite finding it yet, but pushing in Bamboo against Light Pink Yoshi shows that they're not ready to give up on that yet.
Yeah, the double-sided, the open-ended kind of weights are one of the, I guess, staples of Mahjong efficiency. Chris Gong does not get it here, and actually he decides not to Reachy because of that. Chris Gong actually has no Yaku other than fully concealed, like a self-draw, sumo. So Chris Gong actually cannot roam because he hasn't reached. Maybe he'll do so in the future, but he doesn't like his weight right now. Light Pink Yoshi actually only has one Dora left to get as well, assuming Chris Gong doesn't discard his, and I don't think he will.
Yeah, and there's huge opportunities for upgrades here for Chris Gong. Kind of weighing that option here. Waited a turn, it didn't happen. Could have gotten that 7-8 for a potential 7-8-9 Sanchoku in this hand. But the dealer Ricci is scary enough, it's going to push people to maybe fold, give them points for no 10 payments and stuff at the end of this. So, no Ipatsu, but these tiles could come out, and could be a self-draw as well.
Yeah, I think if our other players are observant, they'll notice that Chris Gong did what they call a sumogiri reach, or by discarding the same tile that they drew, so they actually didn't change their hand. When you look at that, it means that the player was already Tenpai earlier. Which means that, of course, they've just been waiting around Tenpai, and now they've just decided to reach.
Right, and now there's 2 players in Ricci, and all the players are in Tenpai. Everybody is ready to win here. And it's going to be the Sumo! The unexpected 7-mon coming in for Chris Gong, coming in under the statistics here. Doesn't matter to a player like Chris Gong. 6,000 points in the bag, keeps the dealership. And that is the momentum that Chris Gong was looking for as we head into East 2 Repeat 1.
I guess it's a good thing he reached there to get those points. I know he was probably also looking for both Pinfu and mixed triple sequences for a lot of points. I think that's why he waited a while before reaching, but it's a good thing he got it through in the end, because that would have been worth quite a bit less.
A relatively fast hand here for Chris Gong, pretty close to what he's looking for, and maybe even a potential Sanchoku decides to drop the 2 and keep the 1s as a pair here. But a pretty good starting hand for Chris. And looking around the table, some smatterings of tiles here. The white dragon could come out of Light Pink Yoshi's hand and speed up Suli's hand really, really quickly here. So this dealership might not last too long for Chris Gong.
Yeah, but Chris Gong did get a really good draw there, which might give him both. It's actually the same as last time, both Pinfu and mixed triple sequence with this draw. Could even call a 2 of characters 2-mon here in order to weight for the mixed triple sequence, but it'd be worth a lot less.
A really scary hand, but Suli's in Tenpai now for the 5 and the 9. 9 getting drawn by buckets, but they'll keep it to complete the 7, 8, 9, of course. So we'll have to see how this hand progresses, because Chris Gong definitely going to want to go for this value, but going to be hard to find under the pressure of this Tenpai from Suli.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting sort of irony, if you will. If Buckets does decide to play safe, well, it doesn't matter now with the sumo, but he might have discarded the 9 mon and I would have dealt it.
Yeah. That's the tough part about playing at such a high level, because the things that seem safe are the things that people are going to prey on, those things that you go back to, the places where you have some comfort and stuff like that. They're going to prey on that, and they're going to get those points, especially with players like Light Pink Yoshi. You and I have talked about it. We have experience playing against him and stuff like that in tournaments. Light Pink Yoshi is the type of person that can take over a table very quickly, find who the weakest link is, and just target them over and over again for a ton of points.
Yeah, hopefully there aren't too many weak links here in the top 16, right?
Right. Everything's relative, though, right?
Yes.
So, it's hard to say which way it'll go. But as we start off this hand here, Suli has a little bit of speed in their hand with the east winds here, and everybody else's hand sort of starting to chug along, especially Buckets there across the way. And it's going to be the Chi from Light Pink Yoshi looking for the 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku, it looks like.
Yeah, Suli missing out on those white dragons. They discarded one early and then drew a second one right after. So unfortunately, there's not too much you can do. Maybe if Suli had thought about going for a half flush there, it would have been lucky, but who can predict when you only have one white dragon that you're just going to draw the second one right off the bat?
Yeah, it's always hard to say. But this is the type of hand that you kind of want to see in the dealer seat and stuff like that. Getting rid of that 6 right now is really, really important, because if other players are waiting on a double-sided weight on the 7-8 for the Dora or the other one, dropping that 6 now means that you aren't going to be dealing in that later. Kind of playing this Sakigiri, like Japanese defensive term, now, so that you don't deal in later.
Yeah, discarding early.
It's gonna be Suli with the Riichi here on the 3-pin. Buckets deciding if he wants to cheat or deny Ipatsu here.
This could be quite valuable with the red 5 that Suli has drawn recently to put into their hand for Template. Of course, if they get the East, it's worth even more.
Yeah. And looking at, self-draw here, looks really good for Suli, but it's going to be the 2 that comes out, and Light Pink Yoshi's going to get the Sanshoku plus Dora here. A quick dealer hand, open, gets 2 on, 2,900 points right in the pocket.
Yeah, I was wondering if Light Pink Yoshi was going to move to a fully outside hand, a Junchan hand, because the only set missing was the 6s of So, 6-So in his hand. But of course, when Suli reaches, he didn't have much time to change and just take the win where you can get it.
Yeah, and it's those types of decisions, the decisions between value and speed that really define a player in Riichi. Especially, as those decisions add up over time.
Not much time really to add up here.
From Suli.
With the emote.
Yeah, sometimes you just get the speed,
Right. With the emote right off the bat. It looked like a non plus, a very bored emote, but maybe that's just Suli being in such shock that they got Tempai so fast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the deal.
No.
Oh, it's held. Chris Gong is not greedy enough to discard the 7 mon right like that.
Yeah, great discipline there. I think that's going to be for Chris Gong probably like the switch up towards 7 pairs rather than a half flush and stuff like that, able to play defensive.
Yeah.
Kind of sensing that 7 mon is dangerous.
Oh, but what's he gonna do here? Oh, he holds it. He's gonna hold for 7 pairs. The question is, when time comes, will he discard the 7 mon to try and get both, right? Because you can get both. You can get 7 pairs and you can get a half flush. Actually goes with the 9 pin, but the 9 pin is safe because Light Pink Yoshi discarded it.
Yeah, definitely playing a defensive game. Able to sort of fold sideways, as they say. Playing where still developing the hand slowly but surely, but discarding things that have already been discarded, and making sure that you don't deal in yourself while you're trying to win, but also defend against the Reachy.
Yeah, I wonder how hard Light Pink Yoshi here is going to push for his mixed triple sequence with the 1-2-3. I mean, he fought Suli's Reachy last hand with a 1-2-3, but this hand seems a little bit slower, so it might not be worth it.
I also really like the stuff here from Chris Gong. He kept that Northwind he just discarded over the 6 last turn for that sort of offensive power that 7 pairs can have. Because the North was once discarded and stuff like that. Very easy for someone else to deal in later on with the 7 pairs there. Deciding now that defense is probably the best option at the moment. But yeah, really interesting plays here.
Chris Gong seems to have a laser eye focus on that 7-mon. It's the deal in town. It almost feels like Chris Gong knows it, just absolutely not discarding it at all. Already back up to 5 pairs. It's definitely not a half flush. Oh, a triplet for buckets of Dora. One is red.
Wow.
Yeah, chance for Tenpai. Buckets is going to go for it. This hand is enormous. It's already 6 Han for Hanemon.
Ooh, and the Reachy chance. This is getting spicy.
This is not a great wait, but we have seen Light Pink Yoshi wait on Dora before, and now as the dealer, even more reason to do it.
Oh, man. Well, this is the chance that you take here, because, I mean, if you are buckets, you're not dropping any of those Dora, I'll tell you that, but,
I don't know. Maybe
it makes sense to reach you there.
There's a chance to change the weight, although I think 4-mon would make more sense to discard. Even 4-mon is really dangerous, though.
A really, really hard decision here for buckets now.
Maybe the 7 just comes out? Because the 8 is already in buckets discard, so he would be Furiten. He wouldn't be able to roam. Yeah, it comes out.
So what should have been a quick win for Suli turned into a much longer wait for the Reachy Uradora here.
But
gonna be 4,900 points. A good little bit of treasure.
He collected Yoshi's Reachy stick, that microphone. You can see Yoshi, the decorations match the character. Kana, the idol character, using the microphone to Reachy.
Very good.
Yeah, well decked out. But unfortunately, the microphone could not win that hand. The Dora, Yoshi trying to wait on Dora again, didn't work out that time. Suli got an Uradora for waiting that long though. So both Yoshi's Reachy stick and an Uradora to make that hand, as you said, over 4,000 points in total.
Yeah, really, really impressive stuff being seen here. A lot of defensive plays that you're seeing at this top end. Bucket's hand is pretty crazy starting off here. Definitely a chance for Ipeiko, a pure double sequence here on the 7, 8, 9 of Bamboo, and a lot of other sort of 7s and 8s in that hand. Definitely a higher, tile value sort of hand.
Right.
So a potential for Sanchoku, a potential for a full outside hand, maybe. Lots of potential value there if they're lucky enough, but also might just go for speed.
There's some potential value. Light Pink Yoshi matches up another Dora in his hand. I wonder if he's going to be willing to discard one if he gets an 8-pin, like that one that Bucket's discarded. Of course, he can't cheat it because it's coming from across the table. But it'll be interesting to see how much Yoshi wants those Dora rather than speed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Light Pink Yoshi keeping the 2 over the 8 show here. Gonna finish up that 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so really shiny hand, a lot of potential value.
Where does Buckets go from here? This is technically Tenpai. Doesn't take it though. Buckets is looking for big points here. Currently in last place. It is only East round, but I suppose he still thinks there's a lot of work to do.
Well, you have to get tempo in the match, and also if you're thinking about the meta game of everything, there's 3 games here with your scores and stuff for the quarterfinals, and then if you make it on to the semifinals, your score still matters because it's not reset, it's halved. So your score actually, you care about how much you're carrying over there. So going for big swings is kind of the name of the game in this tournament so far, especially with the 3 consecutive games that got them here. So that's kind of been the mentality of this whole tournament. And speaking of big value, Light Pink Yoshi waiting on Dora and the 5 of Bamboo here. If they happen to come out locked up in other people's hands, gonna be huge value and a big swing.
Bucket's slightly at risk here, but I expect because the 8-so has been discarded by Light Pink Yoshi that Buckets will discard the 8-so instead of the 5-so. Indeed.
Yep, there you go.
So Buckets is Tempai, not a great weight, but no Yaku, so Buckets cannot roam here. Buckets has to draw it himself if he doesn't want to reach you.
And good strategy there from Buckets. Drew a 7-pin, but discarded the one from his hand to make it look like his hand progressed there to the other players. So these little mind tricks, the things that you might not notice if you're just playing casually on your own and all that sort of stuff, really big deal.
Suli's going to risk a couple tiles here to try and get Tempai. So far, hasn't had to risk much, but now comes the Formon. This is the risk. It's actually safe, but will Suli believe it? Yeah, Suli goes for it. So Suli trying to hold on to their dealer turn.
Very good.
And Bucket's still fighting here. Discards the 7.
Ooh, interesting. All right, the 7 was dropped recently. They can do it too. The Shumo gonna be found. The very last weapon is the red 5.
Buckets just finds it.
Absolutely insane. You know, not the biggest hand, but statistically speaking, absolutely crazy finding that tile.
Yeah, considering he couldn't roam, he had to draw it himself. I had honestly kind of written him off there. I was more interested in Suli's changer because Suli has 3 concealed triplets with that draw, which actually allowed them to win the hand. Like, because 3 concealed triplets is a Yaku. Sananko there.
Right.
And that was a big surprise, but even a bigger surprise, Bucket's taking down the hand. Still in last place, but much closer, and now it's Bucket's final dealer round of this first game.
Yeah, and it's not the hand that you want to open, for sure. As the dealer, or as anybody really, very far away from being completed. Probably going to be keeping some of these dragons to see if they can complete these shapes and just pawn something up and get something going real quick.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, it's not double East anymore, so the pair of East is worth less. But on the other hand, that means nobody else is using the East, so it's more likely you might get it from them. In fact, we can see they're still in the wall right now, so maybe there's something for Buckets here.
Yeah, and this is like a part of the theory that we talk about. Actually, before we get into that, Suli looks like DC'd over there on the left.
Can be tough in these matches, I suppose, in these final matches. The playoffs, if your internet goes down or something. But Suli had disconnected once before. It was for a little bit less time. Hopefully they get that fixed up because Chris Gong is now in Ricci. You don't want to discard haphazardly against that.
Yeah, it looks like they're back, so everything's all good now, and hopefully will remain that way. The 5 is going to be the drop here from Bucket's kind of interesting play there into the Ricci.
Yeah, it's almost been a little bit of stealth, a sneak into first place here for Chris Gong, because there have been a lot of big hands from our other players on the table, but Chris Gong slowly, but by not dealing in, by winning some smaller hands, has slid his way into first place. It's not that big right now. We still have the whole South round to play, but it's the place you want to be in if you can pick any of them.
Yeah, and that Eastwind drop there, the pair going to be dropped by Buckets, kind of giving Light Pink Yoshi maybe the go-ahead to drop their own as they head towards what looks like just like a Westwind only hand with the red 5. So might see some more competition for Chris Gong here in this Ricci. It is a double-sided weight, but those 6s are locked up pretty much everywhere else.
Oh, the Dora! Buckets risks the Dora against the Ricci, and it pays off here. I mean, Buckets is still not Tempai, and in fact, that 7-pin now deals into Yoshi, who's also pushing against the Ricci. I mean, the Dora allows Suli to also keep pushing, even though Suli kind of folded before. Suli does not deal the 7 pin in, so stays alive for now.
Very intelligent defense from these players. Seeing a lot of that going on now. With the 1 show picked up here, though, there's a little bit of a decision to be made on what to drop next. Not going to deal in here.
Not
Double-sided weight, found for buckets, kind of locking up that 7 pin.
Yeah.
In their hand here. Very
We'll
nice.
see what happens. There's still a chance that the 7 pin comes out from buckets, but it's a lot lower now that he's got the 8 pin. Ooh. Well, that's fortunately safe to the Ricci player, having discarded the red 5 a few turns earlier. Well, buckets going in. That's safe.
Oh, and it gives him the 6. Changing the draw order. Absolutely brutal. That's going to be Ricci Sumo red 5 Uridora for 7,900 there.
Yeah, so this is actually a really big hand for Chris Gong. Maybe his biggest of the match, and definitely changes a lot of things. Although this tournament is using red 5s, so it's not as difficult to make the comeback as other tournaments that are no red 5s.
Very true. That little bit of a sad hand there for buckets on that last one. Had their last dealership of the game. They got sumoed while they were in the dealer seat, so they have to pay extra and all that sort of stuff. And the person who's in first gets even further away. So still a close game for second, third, and fourth here. But
Right.
Chris Gong moving just that, a little bit more out of striking distance here.
That's pretty rough.
As we look at the hands around the table, we're going to see some development mainly for Bucket's hand right now. Maybe a little bit of a chance to come back. Suli's looking at some speed there with the white dragon pawn. And as always, light pink Yoshi's hand is looking shiny. Not sure how he does it, but he seems to do it every time.
You say as always like it's just a given, but if your evidence is this match, then it is a given. Light pink Yoshi has been drawing so many Dora, and in fact willing to give one up because his hand just finished the 3-4-5 cell.
Yeah, just suffering from success. Just too much shiny in my hand. I can't see. Let me look at my discards, please. Gonna draw the 3 pretty immediately there. A little bit of pain.
Suli with the same sort of idea, also getting to Tenpai by discarding Dora. Well, I say also. Yoshi's not Tenpai, but same idea.
Right. And that's gonna be the find immediately after finding Tenpai there. A little bit of an emo. I'm dropping it on him. White dragon only.
Yeah, just in time to catch buckets there.
And buckets going a little bit further into fourth, but not by too much. There's still, a good amount of chance to get back into this, at least, take second place at the very least, and get some of that, the placement points back. So, there you go.
That's right. And in fact, Light Pink Yoshi is not going to call the North. No real reason to without any other Yaku. So, I think, of course, Bucket, Suli, and Yoshi have very similar scores, and so they can all sort of strike at each other. But I wonder what it's going to take to get first place from Chris Gong here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, especially at this level of play, we normally talk about people either pushing or folding a hand, but there's more than just that sort of like 2D thinking, because you can sort of aid or sort of harm other people's chances at success and stuff like that. So if I were buckets, and I think that Chris Gong might be going for like bamboo tiles, maybe I'm dropping some bamboo tiles, get them closer to Tenpai, and then they run someone else, and by extension of that, I might get second place, right? So there's that sort of strategy going on here as well for a lot of these players. A lot more options than just pushing and folding and stuff like that. As players get further and further into fourth, the more they're going to want to push and stuff like that and take more risks. But it's that strategy that really defines these higher level games.
There's a lot of times I've neared the end of a game, looked at my hand and said, oh, this is worth like 2,000 points or something, and I need 8,000, and I just can't find any way to do it. But then somebody makes a Dora 3 on the table, or they do a Ricci, and I'm just saying, oh, I hope they deal into that other player. And it's more than 8,000 points, so I can make up a position on the table. And sometimes that is the best chance you have. It's not in your hand, but it's in somebody else's hand by looking at how the table has sort of shaken out.
Yeah, and this table is sort of starting to take shape. If you're looking at the discards here as one of the competitors, you're noticing, well, a lot of honor tiles have come out, but the green dragons are nowhere to be found. And so Suli and Chris Gong both sort of like mochi is the term, I believe.
That's right.
They both have things that they're looking for, so they're never going to find them, obviously. So tough position to be in, kind of like in that gridlock. So a little bit of an advantage for Light Pink Yoshi and Buckets here to try and find their own Tenpai. They have a little bit of extra time to get there.
Yeah, and Chris Gong willing to discard the 4-mon, which is close to the Dora 5-mon, can be very dangerous here. But Chris Gong noticing that the 1-pin actually allows him to draw the 2-pin for Tenpai. But of course, he took the 8-so draw after that, and it's going to pay off for him here. He's going to reach Tenpai. 4 7-pin wait, doesn't have to worry about the green dragons because he's not waiting for them, unlike Suli, who is waiting for them. Suli does have one other wait, but even that is stuck in both of the other players' hands.
Yeah, and they're not going to be able to find a Yaku here otherwise, and the green dragon's going to come out because they kind of realize that Mochi might be happening here. The Ricci chance for Light Pink Yoshi, who's already sitting in Damiten, that sort of sneaky Tenpai state without calling Ricci, waiting on the 2 or 5 of Bamboo.
Oh, this deals in either side. Both sides deal in.
A dangerous draw here. Your dealer. Do you want to fold?
Ooh,
maybe. Shake up the hand a little bit and might be able to get back into Tenpai.
Suli actually got back to Tenpai here by drawing an extra Dora on 5-mon. And now the 8-mon. This is crazy. But yeah, Suli takes it. This is huge.
Yeah, waiting on Dora or the 6. The 6 again, locked up.
Yeah, there's actually a Dora left in the wall. It's not the red one, but okay.
And so we've sort of had that time, we've had that space. The 9 going to get dropped here by Light Pink. Yoshi moving towards what could have been a little bit closer to Tenpai, but not too many draws left unless there's
Suli doesn't find it, but Buckets finds it. Oh, it was one draw away.
A smart discard there.
If someone had called like a pawn or something like last time, maybe Suli gets it.
Yeah. So it's going to be no 10 payments to Chris Gong, and Suli sort of moving further into the lead, going over 40,000 points now as Chris Gong. And as we look around the table here, we have some pretty good hands, especially for Light Pink Yoshi, opening a pretty great hand here. Already like relatively close to being done. And everyone else at the table kind of hoping for the same amount of luck to follow them here. Some potential shapes forming in Bucket's hand, but still has to get rid of those honors. And then Suli, of course, sort of with that Penchan shape in the 1-2 of characters there. Not exactly what you're looking for, but the pair of Souths might be the speed that they need to overcome that sort of bad shape in the 1-2 and the 1-3.
Yeah,
the 7-9 here.
The Penchan being the edge weight, where you have 2 tiles on the edge, and one of them's a terminal, like 1-2 or like 8-9. And so even though it looks like it's 2 connected tiles, you know, there's no 0 tile and there's no 10 tiles, so it's really a one-sided weight. Light Pink Yoshi. Oh, doesn't take
calls Ricci on the Dora.
Doesn't take the 3-so weight. Oh no, not a 3-so fan here. I see.
Says my hand is shiny. I'm getting this done right now.
Yeah, 3-so weight would have kept another Dora in hand, but I think Light Pink Yoshi is looking for the better chance at winning here. How can you have a better chance at winning than 3-so? that might be a personal bias of mine though.
Maybe.
Suli does have a chance to fight it. Here they're 1 away, but the hand is not that good. Yeah, in fact, they're just gonna play a safe tile here. So they're not going to go to 1 away. They're going to stay 2 away, but play safe. That's 7. That's the second 7 from Yoshi. So Sully knows theirs is safe here. Buckets does not call it. And Buckets probably looking to actually win a hand here. Not just calling for Tenpai. It's very early. You know, Yoshi is already reaching. Buckets maybe just has to take the 4th place and play safe so they don't lose more points, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the chance that Shuli hits Tenpai here and stuff like that, and we go for another round and all that sort of stuff. So, like, the art is just to survive and try and go for it next time. Some good cuts here from Chris Gong, and actually some really good draws to drop the green dragon and the red dragon here. Some pretty like guaranteed safe tiles and stuff like that into this Riichi here from Light Pink Yoshi. So.
You know, generally the advice in 4th place is you just have to push and go for it more often, but Bucket's hand is just so bad in this case, and of course as well, this isn't like ladder. The 4
drawn, the 4 and discarded. That's gonna be Light Pink Yoshi taking this hand and 2nd place.
Yeah, not bad.
Hand 5200.
Not bad here for Yoshi, catching up and overtaking in South 4 to make a 2nd place end on the first game. So we've got Chris Gong at 1st place, plus 30.3. Yoshi with that South 4 win is going to get a plus 7. Sully in 3rd with minus 12.6. And Buckets in last on this one with minus 24.7. We're going to be looking for the other 3 games, seeing which have already been completed, which are still available to take a look at. It looks like that was the first game to finish. So, let's go see how everybody else is doing.
Yeah, that first game there, really, really good stuff. Seeing a lot of different, you know, techniques and stuff coming out from these players. Really, really good to see. And I'm sure there's going to be more and more and more of that as we get into our next match here. Our dealer is Bobrick, currently sitting in last place at 15,000 points. Going to be looking for some dealer repeats here in South 1, their last dealership of the game. And definitely able to get there, looking at a little bit of a all simples action here with Adora.
Interesting chi. It doesn't actually advance them closer to Tenpai, but it changes the shape of their hand. Now they can accept another 5 or 8 of dots. You can see Bobrick already has 3 8s of dots. I wonder if it was worth it to chi instead of getting just another draw from the wall.
Yeah, there's also the potential for, you know, from their perspective, we can kind of see other tiles in other people's hands right now. But, you know, maybe the hope is to draw another 6 of bamboo here and find like a pair of the Dora. But now they're going to draw the 7 and just wait on the 6, get that dealer repeat and keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, this might come out from Legius. Legius has a 6 pin that's isolated, that's sort of on an island. Let's see if Bobrick changes their weight. Does not. That's a good draw.
It's a good draw for Legius. Connects to the Dora.
I think one of those is coming out, either the 5 or the 6. I mean, the 5 mon is safe to Bobrick though, as the dealer. So maybe the 5 mon comes out. But the thing is, Legius has the 6 in the...
The 7 connects. They might drop the 6.
This is Tenpai. Tenpai for Legius.
It's definitely very tempting. Wouldn't blame them for dropping it. And they do. It's going to be the run here for all simples Dora for Bobrick here. So just a 2,900 point hand as the dealer. But they keep the dealer seat. They have the potential to get back into this game. And they get themselves 3rd place with that hand.
Yeah, and this hand might be doing more for Bobrick here. 2 Dora and 2 completed shapes with a pair already. That is some high efficiency and high speed.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about momentum in Mahjong and sort of, you know, believing in yourself and having that tile flow, all that sort of stuff. You know, there's a lot of
right.
I don't know, like superstition or spirituality or something about Mahjong that just seems to come in through the luck of the tiles, the luck of the draw, believing in the heart of the tiles.
Yeah, I mean,
Like yourself believing in the Sanzo.
Ipatsu Johnny here. Their first game is going okay so far. They're not in first, but they are in second, 26,600. We'll see if an Ipatsu can bring them to victory when it comes back around.
When it matters most, he'll hit
Right.
Ipatsu, I believe.
Well, Bobrick here, very close to Tenpai, one away. Just which tile to discard? Tough decision. Gonna go with the 9-mon.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough draw there for Bobrick because those some really
Another
tough
Dora.
draws here. Already dropped the 8, so can't go for the Ipeko here without being in furry thin and all that sort of stuff.
There's also one in the Dora indicator wall.
Yeah.
So there really is only one left. And it's furry 10. And it's furry 10.
Incredibly tough, position to be in. But, not the end of the world. Could definitely still make it happen. Just gotta find some draws in some other places. Probably end up dropping the 8 of bamboo here. Whenever you find like the 5-6 or another 3 of circles or something like that.
Yeah.
So, there's still hope. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good point that, of course, Bobrick would like to draw a third Dora, but those are also gone as well. This is actually a little bit tougher. Oh, but it just
finds the 3. What did I tell you?
Yeah,
just draw the right tile. You're good.
It's so beautiful. No Yaku here, so I think Bobrick's got to reach this. Oh. Ooh, I was a little worried Bobrick had disconnected. They were gonna drop the 3-pin. Their one savior tile right there.
Now, the one thing to look at here is that a lot of these 5s and 8s are trapped up in people's hands right now.
Yeah.
And the inside Suji drop there from Sparrowhawk, very bold to drop the red 5.
Super
testing those
bold,
waters.
for sure. Especially when the 8 was just discarded for Ricci. Definitely a chance that Bobrick's waiting for the 5. But, I mean, Sparrowhawk is kind of stuck with the kind of tiles
Do we
left
get
in
the
their
content?
Definitely.
We do, baby.
Ooh, misses the sumo.
Wrong 5.
Yeah, it's the wrong
Very
5
close.
for sure. I mean, I know you mentioned a lot of the tiles are held up in players' hands, but there's still 3 of them in the wall, which I feel like is good enough odds. As well, these 8s and 5s are kind of loose for Sparrowhawk and Ipatsu Johnny. If they are going to push, and Sparrowhawk is in a little bit of a tight spot, definitely might see them come out. So I think Bobrick has some pretty decent chances here.
There are pretty decent chances. My thought process, as I commentate more and more of these sorts of tournaments, it's like, well, everyone is like a defending genius, so obviously like the right tiles are never going to come out, but there's always different thought processes on absolutely everything here. Like the 2-3-4 getting completed, what are they going to drop here? Ipatsu Johnny, what are you going to do?
Exactly. Gonna go with the
Drop
8.
the 8.
Oh, another of Bobrick's winning tiles goes to a different player. Only 2 left in the wall now. And that actually helps lock Sparrowhawk's 5s and 8s in. I mean, the 8 might come out, but I don't think so. Like, I think Sparrowhawk is gonna look for the 7-mon to use that 8-mon. 10 tiles left. 2 in the wall. Oh, make that 1.
The 8 gets drawn. You can feel the pressure at the table now after this con.
I can
Nobody
feel,
wants to deal in for all this Uradora potential.
I can feel the pressure from Bobrick's emotes every go around.
There's a lot of emotes happening. I will I will admit to that. The triplet of the 7's being found. They might drop the 8 here. There's some potential for that.
Yeah, does Legis have
Or
any
maybe
safe?
drop the
Legis
Sanzo?
has
Is
the
that better?
6. Legis has the 6. Okay.
All right.
3-so is discarded. 3-so is not actually a safe tile here.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, but it passes. Oh, it looks like there's gonna be no more draws for Bobrick unless somebody calls a tile here.
Yeah, and there's enough tiles dropped here that it seems like maybe everybody can find a Genbutsu tile, a guaranteed safe tile here.
How comes the 4? Is Sparrow gonna call this for Tenpai? Oh, he's gonna give Bobrick the
Ooh,
chance! No!
But he has the 4. Yep.
Doesn't happen for Bobrick. Bobrick got the extra shot from Sparrowhawk.
Oh man, but they do keep the dealer seat here. You know, a lot of pressure there. You know, a lot of the mental tax from that hand is going to continue adding on to these players.
Right.
So a little bit of a shiny hand here, opening up for Bobrick. Kind of starting to think about what they want to do with this hand, because they open this hand with 3 pairs, which is not necessarily something that you want to see here. And now finding a 4th pair. And if you remember from the top of the stream, Bobrick's favorite Yaku is 7 pairs. So we might see 7 pairs here. The best Yaku, in my opinion.
Yeah, here's a chance.
But,
Chance for Bobrick to execute. Because, you know, people can have a lot of favorites, but there's a lot of times where the wall doesn't give you the tiles you need. Like, imagine if you could make your favorite Yaku use your favorite tile in every single hand. That would be something, wouldn't it?
Well, I think, you know, depending on what ranked room you're in, you might see people do that anyway. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, you got to believe in yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with 7 pairs, there's some, you know, cope that comes along with it, because technically, statistically, every hand, if you go through all the discards, you are statistically likely to get 10 pairs in your hand, you know, kind of like cycle through and stuff like that. And you only need 7.
Yeah,
So,
Legius.
you know, who's these?
Legius running up to 5 pairs here. So Legius actually faster to 7 pairs than Bobrick is. In fact, so fast that Legius decided that the triplet of Tuso was not worth it and just kept the most pair tiles.
Oh, fighting another pair, though, is Bobrick. The battle of the 7 pairs. I love to see it.
Bobrick's caught up. 5 pairs versus 5 pairs. Sparrowhawk doing the half flush on the... Actually, that's probably a full flush, isn't it, for Sparrowhawk?
Yeah, it's starting to look like it for sure.
Yeah, Patsu Johnny going for just all insides. Tanya. Huge drop for Bobrick. What the?
Oh, boy. We
Oh.
might be going for all triplets here.
First
But
template
the,
for Legius.
7 pairs. Reachy. So,
Second
Winning on
template
the
for
good dragon,
Patsu
man.
Johnny? Yes, Johnny risks it.
yeah. Of course, no Ipatsu chance. He's not in Reachy, but, you know, it is what it is.
Right. Oh, another dangerous tile to discard. Will he stick to the plan? Nope. He's going to hide away on that one. That Sparrowhawk
Yeah.
also folding.
I think it makes sense. But you also see some of the stuff here, like from Legis and stuff like that, waiting on the honor tile and stuff like that. That's sort of yet to come out. So, good chance of drawing it, or you know, if someone else draws it, you know, good chance that it comes out, because it's probably not going to be useful to anybody else.
Right. Oh, a chance
So-
to go back to Tempai for Ipatsu Johnny. Will he risk it on this? Not gonna risk it.
I'm not going to. No.
Bobrick? Not bad. 1 away if he chooses to discard a dangerous tile. He's gonna go for it.
Switching up the hand a little bit here, but I think it makes sense with all this Dora in your hand.
Whoa!
Oh,
This
the
is a
death
tough
sentence,
one.
maybe.
It feels like it's gonna come out. You know, see the
And he
emote.
knows it too. Oh, tragic.
Kablamo.
Get to see my favorite favorite Yaku here. 7 pairs. Richie. 3 Han, so it's gonna be 3,200, and it moves the dealership along into South 2, along with those repeats. So gonna be a good amount of points for Lee just off that 7 pairs.
Leech is responding with an emote here now. We had seen mostly only Bobrick using the emotes, but after that win, Legis with the comeback emote.
Oh man. A very potentially fast hand here for Ipatsu Johnny with the East Winds and the Green Dragons and all that sort of stuff. Good amount of potential for pawning and calling. Very quick hand there. And looking around the rest of the table, Bobrick's hand a little bit slower, for sure. But Sparrowhawk, not the worst hand. Potential E-Pago sequence there on the 789.
Yeah, Sparrowhawk
able to draw
is
into it.
1 away from Tempai. It's pretty fast.
So Bobrick kind of losing some of that momentum on this hand. you know, from that last one. That's something that you tend to at least like feel, you know, whenever you're in a flow state, and then dealing the rest of the game, you're kind of, you know, trying to catch back up. But that's a part of the skill of Mahjong, is being able to get back in there, you know?
Yeah, Ipatsu Johnny has been in there, second place right now. Let's see what discard to be made.
No, the Easts.
Yeah, the
I guess that makes sense. It's not a Yaku.
That's right. So Sparrowhawk does get the first Tempai. It's not a badly formed hand either. A Pinfu with one Dora on it.
Yeah, and waiting on a once discarded terminal tile here. Pretty good setup for Sparrowhawk here.
Yeah, big draw for Legis as well.
We'll see.
It looked like Legis was gonna go for a half flush right off the bat. But I suppose when somebody reaches, you just take the fastest hand you can make here. Legis gonna pwn though. Maybe the half flush is still in the works. Ipatsu Johnny with the pony. Ipatsu Johnny's Tempai now.
Yeah, looking like Iponsu Johnny right now, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. So a little bit of like a potential Itsu chance maybe for Legis here.
Maybe
alongside the Red Dragon.
I mean, Ipatsu Johnny can't scare anyone with Sangen with the 3 dragons because Legis has already called the red. But
ooh,
still a decent hand.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's the full straight. Oh, but it's not going to matter.
Oh, but the
here.
deal in there from Ipatsu Johnny does have the Tempai and everything, but gonna deal into Sparrowhawk here, who has Riichi Pinfu Dora for that 3,900.
Not bad, not bad. Eligius still in third though. Ipatsu Johnny didn't lose enough points to change their positioning, and Eligius just lost their dealer turn.
Yeah. Legis opening a hand with 4 pairs. Might see the 7 pairs move from them again, especially with that Westwind Dora in their hand.
Yeah, a lot of times when you have a single Dora, 7 pairs look so much better because it's the easiest way to use that floating Dora, especially an Honor Dora like this. It's going to be so hard to make it into a regular hand in most cases. So this is another one of those reasons where sometimes even when you don't have that many pairs, you might go from 7 pairs from 2 or 3 pairs because you have a single Dora.
Bobrick being pretty much handed a half flush here on a silver platter, it looks like. So whenever this Southwind might come out from Sparrowhawk or whatever, has a lot of speed and some potential value there.
Yeah, pair number 5 for Legis, going for 7. This actually, Legis was the one who won the 7 pairs last time. But you're right, Bobrick is 1 away from Tempai, and without having called yet, you know, the half flush, the full flush, they're both worth 1 more Han if you don't open your hand. So we'll see.
Definitely has the potential to make it happen here, and it would be great for their comeback potential here. Ipatsu Johnny gonna open their hand for a Tempai on the 5 of characters, and it comes into Sparrowhawk's hand, but they drop the South, which gets pawned by Bobrick. And we continue on.
So 2 players Tempai. I'm actually a bit surprised that Ipatsu Johnny got Tempai before anybody else, but that's just the way the things shook out. There is 1 more 5-mon in the wall for both Johnny and Bobrick. I wonder who's going to get it though. Sparrowhawk could use it as well.
Oh, they found the 8 there.
Yeah, I think this should be a win. I don't see why not.
Is a win. Could they get the green dragon for more value? Maybe that's what they're considering. Who knows?
That's gotta be too much Furiten, I think. Yep.
Yeah.
Bobrick's gonna take it.
Just decides to go for the 3 Han. That's gonna be 5,200. Not a bad chunk of change, and it brings Ipatsu Johnny down into 3rd, actually, being the dealer there. So, you know, not a bad look for Bobrick off of that.
Yeah, I think you gotta take that one. I think you definitely have to. It's only the first game as well, right? Of the 3. So you don't want to risk ending up in 4th place. I mean, obviously there's still a chance of 4th place. All the scores are so close, but you don't want to go into South 4 in 4th place if you can avoid it.
Yeah, the name of the game here is probably going to be speed from these players, because outside of Sparrowhawk in a healthy lead here in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, the placement points there from getting those It's gonna be really important to try and finish out in second here, so you don't go negative in the UMA, the placement points. So you're not thinking too much about value. You're just trying to get over Bobrick's score right now. So moving into sort of the end of our first row of discards here, it looks like Bobrick is making some good progress here, alongside Ipatsu Johnny finding some of these Dora as well. Probably the shiniest hand out of the bunch. So the White Dragon coming out from Legis here is going to lead to the continuance of their hand there. Definitely getting some shapes done, but probably the closest is Sparrowhawk right now in the 2-way.
Yeah, I think you're right here. Bobrick could definitely get there, but the west tile's not really usable in any Yaku for Bobrick. So I think we're gonna see them go. Indeed they are. And so now Bobrick is actually closer to Tempai.
Yeah, Bobrick making these calls, understanding that most of the table is just coming for him and his score and all that sort of stuff. So got to get out of here fast and try and make something happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Ipatsu Johnny has an extremely dangerous hand, but Sparrowhawk would have to deal in directly to go under Johnny's score. Which could happen. I mean, it's definitely not off the table.
Nothing's ever off the table in these sorts of tournaments.
Yeah, there's like a 24,000 point gap. I could see Ipatsu Johnny getting a Hanemon here if he does a Richi, and if Sparrowhawk deals in, that could be first place for Ipatsu Johnny. All the way from last right now. We'll
it's going to be 10-pie for Bobrick here. So moving in there nice and quick. So we'll see if they manage to find this victory and get out with second place, or if Ipatsu Johnny is going to be able to finish this hand in time.
Right. Woo! This is the tense moment. It's tense in South 4, but in these sorts of situations, you almost can do the least about it as a player. You're just hoping the tile will come to you. That's a lot of it. And then you hope you don't have to deal in. With a tile like that, you're always worried about whether those dangerous tiles are going to deal in, whether it's worth it to keep pushing or not.
The 5 doesn't fit here in Sparrowhawk's hand. It's going to be interesting to see what they drop. They drop the 1.
Exactly.
The game moves on. And I think if you're Sparrowhawk, you're perfectly fine folding in this hand, in this position.
Yes.
You're in the lead, you don't need to do anything special. You just let it go. You know?
Definitely don't want to deal in 12,000 to Ipatsu Johnny.
Yeah.
Although it's not completely obvious right now. Like, obviously Johnny's not Tempai, but it's not obvious that he's got a lot of points. Still. You gotta worry about it a little bit. Of course, I think Sparrowhawk would be okay dealing into Bobrick, but actually we haven't seen any Dora on the table, so I think Sparrowhawk's gotta be worried about dealing into Bobrick here.
Yeah, you definitely have to be like very cautious as you go in here. The less Dora that you can see, the more explosive hands are likely to be.
Yeah.
So a lot of that's gonna sort of equate to players playing more defensive, but also if you have that value in your hand, Ipatsu Johnny sort of proving the point here. Gonna try and move it along, you know.
Yeah, Ipatsu Johnny's got to go for it because he's in last place right now, right? So even any small win will get him up into second place, and that's such a huge gap that I don't think he's gonna fold for anything at this point. Oh, that's not Tempai. Close, but no cigar. Ooh, that's Tempai though. I can't
Tempai,
see.
but that's gonna
I can't see Sparrowhawk avoiding this. It's such a good hand.
Yeah.
Only one tile left. Oh, Sparrowhawk does avoid it. That's crazy.
Very good. Very smart decision.
Nice evasion from Sparrowhawk. I mean, it's gonna leave them in first place for the game. I guess they didn't really need the dealer repeat. Maybe I felt too greedy after seeing it line up so perfectly.
Yeah, it was a good match. Bobrick manages to stay second. We have Sparrowhawk in first place at plus 31.2. Bobrick at plus 3, keeping himself there. Legis at negative 11.8. And Ipatsu Johnny at negative 22.4.
So that was a long one. The other game had finished when that one had just reached South 1. That was our longest game of the round. So we do have all the results in for game 1 of the quarterfinals. Who's ready to see them?
I am. I'm ready. Chad, are you ready?
Are you guys ready? I can't hear you. Well, actually I can't hear you, but I can see you. I can see you.
I'll speak for them. I think they're about ready here.
Alright, let's see what we've got. So the two games we did watch, we saw Chris Gong take down first place in that table 1, and we saw on the bottom right there Sparrowhawk taking down first place in table 4. For our other tables, Chunman in the top right with a plus 39.9 taking down first place there. Paradigm with the plus 25.3. SunX VN with minus 11.2 and an unfortunate minus 54 for all those U's in the first game. And then in the bottom left, Suzumi plus 32.8. Red Panda coming in second. Viactive as we've called them.
Yeah,
Third place with minus 13. And Jaffa Orange taking the fourth on that table. So it's still definitely anyone's game. Even if you're at minus 54, we will be getting the remainder of the results and the second tables up and running pretty soon. But as a thank you for waiting and for watching all the matches, we've got something for you in the audience there.
Oh.
That's right. We've got our live stream lucky draw. So, if you've been here before, you know how it works. But for those of you who haven't watched the Catfood Bowl or participated in the lucky draw, you've got to leave a comment for your chance to win the 30-day fortune charm. I'm going to ask you a question, and you've got to respond with your answer. One lucky Janshi will get a 30-day fortune charm. Of course, if you're the winner, you can contact Yostar by email with your YouTube ID and your Mahjong Soul ID so they know who commented and where to send the prize at mjs.cs@yo-star.com. Now, the question... what's a good question? Alright, let's start it easy. We've seen the lucky Yakus for our players. We've seen 7 pairs land for Legius. What's your favorite Yaku in the chat? Let's see. I know there's a lot of popular ones. Maybe we've seen some unpopular ones. What's your favorite Yaku? Leave your comment for the chance to win the 30-day fortune charm.
Nice. Tips, what's your favorite Yaku?
I like the fully outside hand, the Junchan. Whenever you line it up, it feels like making treasure from trash, you know? You've got all these outside tiles that don't really look so good. You didn't make like 13 orphans or all honors, or you don't have a lot of triplets. All of a sudden you put like a 1, 2, 3 and a 7, 8, 9 together, and you have these 1s and 9s, and all of a sudden you've made 2 Han, maybe 3 Han if you can do it closed. But I am also partial to all green because it was the first Yakuman I ever got. It's kind of crazy because of how rare it is even among the Yakuman. Also, it's got a 3-cell in it.
There you go. That's the only thing that matters with the Yaku. Does it have a 3-cell in it?
What about you, Tennote?
Well, I was looking at all these players and their favorite Yaku and stuff like that, like the top 16. A lot of them said fully outside hand, right, Junchan? And so now I'm thinking my favorite Yaku has to be Junchan if I ever want to make it to like Saint or Celestial. You know what I mean? But right now, 7 pairs. All right. Because my dream is to get a Kazue Yakumon 7 pair. So a counted Yakumon. Right? It's possible. It could definitely happen.
Possible.
And we have somebody coming up. I won't spoil who they are just yet. But in the chat, she just said it. She actually got a Kazue Yakumon 7 pairs. That was her first Yakumon. So there's hope for me yet. There's still hope.
What I want to know is, like, does Kazue Yakumon count as a Yaku on its own? Kazue, obviously, the counted, as you mentioned. It's like a lot of other Yaku. It could be any Yaku. Does it count as a Yaku for it?
I don't think counted Yakumon is itself a Yaku.
Right.
It's just like, it just ends up being that amount of points. But it's still really cool.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. That's an acceptable answer. Whew. So, make sure to get your answer in if you haven't yet. What is your favorite Yaku for your chance to win a 30-day fortune charm in Mahjong Soul?
Oh, tips. I think we have our winner here.
Oh. Drum roll, please.
So, our winner, saying all simples, nya, is Alp, A-L-P in the chat. Be sure to contact us by email if because you are the lucky one, A-L-P, mjs.cs@yostar.com.
Yep, make sure to put that dash. Make sure to put that dash in Yo-Star, and make sure to include your YouTube ID and Mahjong Soul ID. Your ID is not the name, but it's the 9 or 10, maybe even 11 now. It's the numbers when you go to your friends. When you go to your friends list, it's the friend ID that people add you with. That is your ID. So, thank you for participating in our first lucky draw. First of many, so stay tuned for that. Woo. We'll have more throughout the tournament.
Super exciting.
We've got it all lined up here. Tenhote, what are we looking at so far?
So right now, we've had sort of a shifting in the standings after that first game. A lot of really explosive hands being traded back and forth. Right now we have Chunman at plus 39.9, sitting in first place. Not too far behind them is Suzume at plus 32.8. And then down the list we have Sparrowhawk, Chris Gong, Paradigm, Red Panda, Light Pink Yoshi, and Bobrick all sitting in the positive zone here for points. And then Sonics, VN, Legis, Sully, Act, or V Active, however you want to say that, Ipatsu Johnny, Buckets, Jaffa Orange, and you, 14 of them, by the way, in the negative category over here on the right. Still anybody's game, still very close in terms of points, 2 more games to go. Nobody is totally out of it yet, could still make top 8. So all these games matter, every hand matters. It's going to be absolutely a great time in these next 2 games.
Yep, and we also need to make sure we know what the next 2 games actually are, so we know where all of our players are going. We can see Chunman on the top, Yu's on the bottom. It almost feels like the longer your name is, the worse you're doing. So there are a few exceptions. Sparrowhawk's got a really long one there, and they're in 3rd place. But all of our long names, Ipatsu Johnny, Jaffa Orange, 14 U's, holding in the bottom 4 there. I guess Light Pink Yoshi also representing long names, holding it up at 7th place. 7th place with +7. That's funny.
Yeah, good. I don't know. It's interesting to see because there are some returning names and stuff like that. Light Pink Yoshi, you've definitely seen in the Catfood Bowl before. You've seen other players in top flights. V Active, you've seen Paradigm, all that sort of stuff. If you sit around and watch, Mahjong tournaments like I do. So there's no exact formula for who's going to be in first place. Mahjong, there is a little bit of variance, all that sort of stuff. But all these players are super top flight. So seeing who's going to come out on top at the end of these 3 games to go on to the semifinals is something I'm really, really looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that we have the tables all set up. So in the same way as game 1, except this time based on their current scores, we've got table 1 with Chunman, Bobrick, SonXVN, and you. Ooh, 14 years. Table 2, we've got Suzumi, Light Pink Yoshi, Eligius, and Jaffa Orange. Table 3's got Sparrowhawk, Red Panda, Suli Derduli, and Buckets. And table 4 will have Chris Gong, Paradigm, V-Active, and Ipatsu Johnny. So that's
Super excited
be...
to see these competitors.
Yeah. But, of course, there is one more thing that we have to do before going to game number 2. That's to give me a break, because we have a special staff member in here today. You may have heard her already at the beginning of the stream. Please welcome the magical Mahjong girl, Irie!
Hello, everyone! And hi, how are you guys doing? That was some amazing mahjong. My name is Heidi, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a magical mahjong girl VTuber, streaming at twitch.tv/IronTV, also on YouTube. Have some videos out there, might put some out in the near future, and I've commentated quite a few of these Catfood Bowl tournaments. They're always so exciting, and it's always such a pleasure to commentate for them. And wow, we already saw some amazing play. We saw Light Pink Yoshi in South 3 dealer giving up their tempai to go into South 4 and win by discarding the Dora accepting shape and winning that comeback into second place. So that's a huge win. We also saw some crazy good defensive play in the other game that we watched. So that was exciting, and we have some more amazing mahjong to watch.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting to be here. Irie, it's great to commentate with you again. Really glad to have you. So as we get sort of these matches set up and things get going here, what are you most excited to see moving into game 2?
Ooh, I'm excited to see how much the players have evolved. We have seen some players, this is not their first time around, and I do notice that they keep getting better, they keep getting stronger, and it's always so impressive to see. So I'm excited to see some amazing Mahjong play that we always have. You know, these players are top of the top of Mahjong Soul again. So let's see what we have for game 2 of the Catfood Bowl Minor Sweet Wonders.
Game 2 is coming up shortly. I guess in the meantime, for those who haven't listened to every single Catfood Bowl, because I think we've got quite a few new viewers here. Hello to all viewers, new and old. Thank you for watching, of course. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Irie.
So I've been playing Mahjong for 5 years, I think. 5 or 6 years, and I've been commentating these Catfood Bowl minors and majors, and some other new event collaboration announcements, that kind of stuff for Yostar for 4 years at this point. I think in 2001 was our first one with hashtag Oxier, I think. So that was exciting. And it's always such a pleasure. It's such an honor to commentate these amazing matches. And it's actually really interesting because we were watching Light Pink Yoshi play. And I actually managed, I was actually playing with Light Pink Yoshi this weekend at the American Reach Association's invitational to the qualifiers for the World Reach Championship. So that was exciting. But enough about me. Here we go. The matches have started. Ian, opening up as the first dealer, already has Dora and Double E Surely and Ice Hand 5,800 points ready to go. And we also have Ooh, who did not have the best first game. Hopefully they get lots of points to catch up.
Yeah, the comebacks have been real in this tournament, especially because in sort of the initial match and everything, being able to sort of come back from, maybe a fourth place and then win 3 first place in a row, that's something that we've seen from some of these competitors. They definitely have the mindset to just kind of like reset after a bad game, keep it going, which is just like a part of being a top level player. It's going to be really, really interesting to see the sort of pushes that we see in these games. So really looking forward to it here.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, we have seen, if you remember at the beginning of the stream, I don't know if everyone was here for that, but we had a highlight reel. It's also up on the official Mahjong Soul official channel, and actually got into the top 16 by winning 6 hands in a row as dealer. So I'm sure, they have it in them. They have it in them. They can definitely do it. And we do see Sonic's Vian 1 away now for also mixed triple sequence 2, 3, 4. So that would be enough for the quote unquote Mangan, right? 11,600. That's Mangan, right?
Yeah.
Everyone agrees?
Yeah, definitely. Always call it a fake Mangan, but really, yeah, we'll count it.
Genuine imitation Mangan.
Yes.
We also have June on the right, getting Tempai, not actually reaching, deciding, Pink Foot Tiny Eldora 2 is enough for me. 7,700 on a run, or Tsumo for Mangan. We do also have a Richie from Bodrick. Now on that 258 bamboo weight, gonna be very scary to go up against it. Sonic's V and also Tempai on 1-4 pin. But the Bodrick Ipad Sumo! Reach Ipad Sumo Dora. That's gonna be 7,900. Pretty much Mangan. Very, very good to start off.
Yeah, great hand, especially after Bobrick coming off of that really close second place there. Definitely looking for the points to kind of come back from that second place that didn't quite get them as many points as they want here. So definitely good momentum coming into game 2 for Bobrick.
Now we're moving into the second dealership. June had that Tempai last round, but did not manage to win it. Now I'm gonna see if they can make it up. Though, wanting to break that dealership, going for a half flush, self bond.
Yeah,
ready
might
to
be
go.
looking for that there. A potential fast hand here for Chunmin here, pawning that green dragon. Gonna be able to move towards Tempai at a pretty swift pace there and just rack up these dealer repeats.
Yeah, now that they have the green dragon secured, the Yaku, this is not much to start off, but you gotta remember, every time you win a hand as a dealer, you get more points for your next win, and also, you never know when you're just gonna open up a hand and it's gonna have 3 Dora, right?
It's gonna be kind of taking charge of this hand and pawning and cheating, trying to get into some sort of Tempai here. Definitely taking things in stride, as they call these shapes. So gonna be interesting to see how their hand works out. Hopefully not backing themselves into a corner by pawning a little bit too much and having a little bit less wiggle room to move around it.
Yeah, that's right. One of the downsides of making this many calls, especially when you don't get Tempai right away, is that it does open you up to a lot of potential dangers, right? If someone reaches, especially when you don't have the Doras, it can put you in a very tricky situation really quick.
Yeah, I mean, they say that Chi is twice as fast and Pawn is 4 times as fast for completing your hand, but when you go fast, you can run out of fuel really quickly. But it's gonna be Bobrick here picking up the Tenpai on the 5-7 of circles there. Lots of potential value in that hand, especially if they find the 3rd Dora.
Oh, and they do find it. In fact, maybe they should have reached it, because that was pretty much an Ipatsu. Sumo Tanya Dora 3 for the Mangan. 2,000, 4,000, please.
Man, I think Ipatsu Johnny is, he's got his ears burning here. But, good find for Bobrick here. The game moves on. And a very swift gap for first place here. The other 3 competitors, kind of getting sumoed to death. Bobrick finding those wins off their own draws. So very, very close competition here in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. something that we've really seen here a lot is that kind of like pulling away of first place and then everyone else kind of scrambling for second. So we'll see if this is the name of the game in this one, or if someone else can kind of get a big swing and take Ballbreak down a peg.
We'll see. I mean, Sonic's VN's hand is quite nice. They have found already the Ipeiko, the pure double sequence 345, and also 2 Dora now being picked up for Sonic's VN. Also, possibly, as we were talking, the 7 pairs.
Very nice. Love to see it.
Oh, there it is.
Definitely love to see it.
Like I said.
Man, we just keep saying things and they keep happening. Look at this. This is great. All of our commentary should go this way. All right. Next, we're gonna see a Yakuman in 2 hands. There you go. All right.
Oh, and the sumo! It should have been Ipatsu. Chito Itsumodora too, again. So we have another manga and sumo. That should have been Richie, the Ipatsu. Where is it?
Yeah, that would have been, 7 on rather than 5. But, the gap widening even more for Chunman and for Ooh here, as Ballbreak gets the dealership, and not the worst starting hand, but definitely not the best.
Yeah, so for maybe some of you guys might be asking yourselves, why would you not reach that if the hand is so good? You have 2 Dora. Well, one of the higher level strategies is the Shadow Tenpai. When you are Tenpai, when you have a really good hand and you don't want everyone to know and get scared, you want to run them, you don't call Richie, and then they deal into you. But that doesn't matter when you draw yourself.
Yeah, I'd like to point out Chunman's hand here, 1 away already. Looking for like a 6 or a 9 of characters, or maybe finishing up one of those pairs there. Very, very fast hand here potentially for them.
There's even a potential path for the Daniel upgrade. We'll see what comes out off the wall. You never know what the wall will bring you. Ballbreak discarding the red 5 of bamboo very early, locking in those shapes. I guess maybe they're just trying to make a very defensive play. Not discarding the Yakuhais, not letting anyone pawn so that they can win a hand. Does make sense.
Yeah, very, very defensive here from Ballbreak. Probably, just trying to hold on to this lead, because this game has been moving at just like a breakneck pace here. It's, I mean, other games might still be on East 1, and it would, totally make sense here.
Yeah, we had no repeats so far. So, moving along quite nicely. Ooh, this is standby here for Ipeiko, pure double sequence with 2 Dora. So it's quite a bit of points. They can improve the weight quite a bit with a lot of draws, but
don't need to.
They get Tenpai and they sumo. I'm telling you guys, you should just reach it at that point, right? That's what the vibe is like at this table. Sometimes it's just like that. Another Mangan. What is happening today?
This is just
I just
like
got here.
a crazy game. Yeah, man, they're just like speed running Mahjong right now. This is incredible. We should have been
really
here for like,
I think that's the
submit
4th Shadow Tenpai Tsumo Mangan. I think.
Yeah. These are some very cool plays happening. You don't need to slam the Riichi button every single time. Even if Riichi Book 1 tells you to. So, you're seeing it here first. Well,
we are now in the South Wind. We'll see Sonic's VN did have a very nice hand in the previous dealership that they had, but they did not manage to win it. So let's see. They got another shot this time. They're pretty much at even points, so despite all of those big wins, the points are kind of even because everyone won a little bit. Just Ballbreak won twice, so a little bit higher up.
Yeah, finding a little bit of a closer path to victory here is Ballbreak picking up some things that they need for sure. Still far away, but it looks like pretty much everybody is relatively far away at this point.
Yeah, the hands with the most potential here, Chuns, Dora 4. Yeah, no, Dora 3, Dora 3. I thought the hand is so okay, never mind. It is Dora 4.
All
okay,
right.
I just knew. Okay.
Many Dora, much well. Very good.
Maybe I shouldn't be a commentator. Maybe I should just be like a divination,
Yeah, fortune teller.
a card reader. Yes, a fortune teller.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just know what tiles are going to be drawn. I do think Mahjong is kind of like competitive divination. You have to know what's coming. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense in my head at least.
Yeah, like, and you haven't like enough, knowledge in the discards to be able to sort of predict things. But
Template for Ooh, by the way. Let's see if they sumo this one. I think they're waiting for like an upgrade because there's so many ways you can get Ping Fu with this hand. You can draw, 9, the 1, the 4. So many tiles here.
yeah, it's definitely tough. And sort of Chunman's hand kind of being caught up here with all the Dora and stuff like that, but the shapes are improving bit by bit, so we might see some improvement there. But Ooh drops the red 5 there, deciding to wait on the 6-9 there, which is typically what you're going to think about whenever someone drops a red 5, all that sort of stuff. Why are they getting rid of that value? Typically it's for the better weight. So that might put some caution into the minds of these other players, but it's going to be Bobber dealing in there for a relatively small hand there.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Ricci wasn't called for this hand is because with the 9-man draw, you can actually go for the, I think, weren't you mentioning it, the fully outside hand?
Yeah. I mean, everybody, has been saying that fully outside hand is their favorite hand, but my favorite hand is 7 pairs, and Chunman is one away from 7 pairs right here at the start.
Wow. The double Ricci, not quite there. It was broken. Oh wait, I mean, yeah, no double Ricci, although it's 1 away from the start.
Absolutely beautiful. This is the sort of thing that I love to see. The 7 pairs gameplay. But definitely some potential other options here with the 7 and 8. Sort of like that double-sided weight and stuff like that. We'll see what happens with this hand. Never want to lock yourself into Yaku.
A lot of wins here for Sonic's VN, and all could draw up the East as well. We'll see what they decide to do. There's potential for all triplets also in this hand, although just with the Dora 2 it's already enough as it is. It does put you in second, so if you can win this hand any way that you can, it's good. For sure. Still on away for the dealer for the 7 pairs.
Yeah, and that's the pain of 7 pairs, discarding the 9 so early and then drawing another one there. But it's just the way that it goes.
Yeah, we do see the weight for the 7 pairs instead of the all triplets. Chun did have the 9-man earlier for the concealed triplet, but they did decide to go for the 7 pairs explicitly. It is a very good hand when you have these sorts of hands, right? Because if you draw the Dora, you really don't want to discard it because you don't want someone else to have the chance to win it. And here we go. They kept the dragons for later in order to get the trickier weight, right? That's the best part about the 7 pairs hand, is that you can trap your opponent so easily. Because sometimes the best defense is the tile that deals in.
Yes, absolutely. And this is the sort of thing that you want to see on 7 pairs and stuff like that. A once discarded honor tile, there's 1 red dragon that's been discarded. So people are thinking, well, there's like a much lesser chance that someone has a pair of them, so they're not going to have a triplet of it if they're waiting on that.
Here we go. I wasn't even paying that much attention to Ooh, but they are Tenpai. Ricci Pinfu, not Pinfu, but Ricci Tanyao with a chance of
no!
Ipeiko, the truth. There it is. Ipatsu. This time it's Ipatsu for real. And Aura 2! Oh no, that's gonna be Mangan.
It's going to be Mangan plus the Ricci stick there from Chunman. Going to be a good amount of points and put them into first place now, Azu.
Alright, we have another hand that has a lot of the outside shapes, but not enough to be fully outside. We'll see though, it could develop that way. So it's Oo's dealer now, and they have caught up to Bobrick, in fact, past them. Unfortunately, Chunman, with that dealer Ricci, did not manage to win in time and is down last. We'll see if they can make a play for the comeback here. They do have the Dora in hand.
Bobrick's hand looks pretty nice here. This is sort of standard pace kind of hand, especially if they end up going for the Ricci and stuff like that. good amount of shapes and some floating tiles to drop and stuff like that. But it's a hand that you could really see coming together, especially for Ricci. Especially if these Dora come down and stuff like that, and kind of take some of the pressure off of that Ricci and stuff like that. So potential hand there from Bobber.
Yeah, we'll see. The Dora was this card about the player, so perhaps for June it will not be the Dora that will get them back into this game, but we'll see. Maybe they find the pure double sequence to win a Ricci Pinfui Patsumo this game, as everyone else has apparently.
Yeah. It's been a really fun game to watch. Very, very fast paced. So, always nice to see that sort of game.
Bobrick's hand has a large amount of Monzu. We'll see if more of them start to come out, if they'll go for the half flush. They do have a Dora in the hand, like the red 5. So we'll see. It's also a 369 weight, I think, and east. So all those tiles will give them tempo. Quite a few ways this hand can progress.
Yeah. Ooh, just going for tile efficiency, it looks like, rather than outside hand at this point, just taking the 2-3-4s.
Yeah, Bobrick is Tempai, does not need to Ricci for this hand. This is another one of those Shadow Tempai possible hands, but they do go for the Ricci. On the 369. And the 9 is pure double sequence. We do have a little bit of a connection issue, but it looks like it's resolved. We're here.
Yeah.
We have the Ricci.
Just a little bit of a hiccup, and now we're back.
Oh, the red 5.
Yeah, wide acceptance here for Bobrick, and not finding that upgrade in time, stuff like that. It's a hard decision to see if you want to wait for that sort of thing.
It's really funny because Bobrick could have chosen to wait on the 5, although it would have not be ideal, but never mind, they just pick up the tile they needed right away. Right after that. So Ricci to a Pinfu. Gonna be 5,200. 1326. So that does put Bobrick above Ooh again. We'll see. This is all last. This has been such a fast game.
Very, very fast game. And that Sumo from Bobrick was when Ooh was dealer there, so that gap between them, between first and second place, widens a little bit more in Bobrick's favor here. Gonna see if anything can come together for them here.
So I'm thinking here from Truman's position. I always like to get in the mind of the player who's in lesson. What's the condition for the comeback, right? So right now we have a hand with a lot of Manzu tiles.
Yeah.
It could be a concealed Honitsu, which is even more points, and he does have the triplet of the West in hand, so it could be a Ricci as well. We'll see what comes out. Bobrick, of course, does not need to win this hand at all to just win the game. In first already. Just a fold is enough.
Yeah, and from the potential fourth place position here, especially in Chunman's position, it's the worst possible scenario to get fourth, but also if you get fourth, that's kind of like a close fourth. It's just that little bit more of a points gap potential, and the con here is gonna mean
the con giving Chunman the 9. The Dora is dropped because it's already been dropped before. It's kind of hard to use. So Chunman is gonna be looking for the concealed Honitsu Ricci, possible pure straight, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, potential.
I think Ooh is also just kind of playing defensive too. This hand does not need to win either. Getting a second place is already big help, although you do want more points.
Yeah, Ooh currently in last place in terms of the standings, so might be looking to finish this hand out with at least a little bit of Dora and stuff like that, get that first place, because they're at -54, I believe, something like that. So we'll see.
Not quite done, but yeah, but another good tile picked up by Chun. One away now with a possible pure double sequence. Yes, there it is.
And that's a really scary Ricci if Chunman manages to get there, especially because of that con potential Uradora or Underdora, for the English term there. So lots of potential value here for Chunman. But it's the Ricci coming out from Sun.
Oh, and it's
EXPN.
another 7 pairs on the green that just passed the turn before. Oh no.
Oh, it seems like such an easy position to, fold in.
And,
Wow.
and we do see the fold. It's very disciplined. Yeah, you don't need to win this hand as Bobrick, even though it's a beautiful hand, to be completely honest.
Wow.
Oh, another
Drops the
Tempai
door.
here for on the White Dragon. Now both of these dragons are death sentences. Really scary position to be in.
Very, very scary. Oh man. All right. A decision here for Chunman. Definitely seeing whether or not to push. Decides to fold, it looks like.
Yeah, so Chun was one of the players who got first. So when you're positioned like this, where it's very unlikely that you're gonna come back from fourth, and you're playing like in a format that's the cumulative sum of points, it is sometimes a good idea to just fold even if you're in fourth, not even try to come back, because
Oh,
you're
the
really
7.
Oh, and there it is. Ron from Ooh.
純ドラ
Unfortunately, I don't think it's enough to come back from. I mean, to come into first, but you take all the points you can get, and that's gonna be it. The game is already over just like that in a flash. Bobrick taking first place with what look like 3 passes. I mean, just Tanya Tsumo. Sorry, not Tanya Tsumo. Tenpai Tsumo. And Ooh, also getting some nice hands in. Second place. Sonic's VN, third place, and Chuman, unfortunately, that Ricci getting chased and dealing an Ipatsu gonna spell out disaster and put him in fourth place. But they did get first in the previous game, so they are still, I guess they're gonna be at about neutral. And so I think since this game finished so fast, we still have a lot of games to go through, and yeah, that was really exciting. I mean, so many crazy hands.
Yeah, I mean, that was a South game that lasted as long as an East game, really. Just hand after hand, it kept moving. No room to breathe at all. No room to think about other people's strategies, nothing like that. As a competitor, you have to think that was a very taxing game mentally. But even Chunman, who got fourth place there, was at positive 39 in first place there and lost 35. So based on the initial standings, top 8 cutoff was at +3 and Chunman's at +4. So depending on how things shake out, definitely still a lot of a chance of a comeback here in game 3 for Chunman. For those rooting for Chunman at home, obviously. Still more games to go here in round 2.
Yep, I believe we are going to be taking a look at another game in just a bit as the match is getting ready for us. Please wait warmly. And there it is. Self 1. Yeah, the game just our game just ended, and this one is still in Self 1. So Paradigm here, currently in first place. Dealer in Self 1. Gonna see what they're gonna be doing here. Potts Johnny has his Tenpai on the Trio Bamboo. Tips would definitely be proud. For the Honitsu. Half flush.
Yeah, and if you're playing as, one of these other players, Ipansu Johnny, it really does feel right on out there that this is a half flush, so other players are going to have to play around that, but you also have the knowledge that everybody's going to be playing around it, so you have the chance to try and get people whenever they're not discarding bamboo, all that sort of stuff, to win your own hand. So we'll see what happens as other people move towards Senpai here.
Yeah, we'll see. Paradigm, this hand is not to be discounted. Ipatsu might be Tenpai, but at any moment, Paradigm could strike. Ooh, once one of Bamboo being drawn here, and the weight is switched. 1 and 4 Bamboo is not the weight. No more Sanzu.
Yep, Tips is crying in the staff room right now. But the 1-4 weight here is going to be a little bit of an upgrade, but the discard of the 2 of Bamboo there is going to tell everybody that Ipansu Johnny is in Tenpai now. Kind of after not discarding Bamboo for a long time, going for that half flush. So.
Ooh, Act expertly dropping the 4 of circles, recognizing that he can get Tenpai and use the Dora. Oh wait, I mean, yeah, of course he can't draw the Dora, but he does know that. But they can get Tenpai with 7 pairs. The Aver is so flexible. I'm sure by the end of the stream we're gonna convince you guys that 7 pairs is the best hand. I'm just convinced because.
Well, that
they
was my
keep
mission
showing
coming
us.
into this, so you know, I'm glad.
7 pairs propaganda.
Yes, exactly.
There it is. This is Tenpai for Act. We'll see what the drop is. It is, yeah, it makes sense that you would not drop a bamboo at all against Ipatsu Johnny. You are in last place, but you don't want to fall deeper down the hole.
Yeah, it's a far rabbit hole to drop down, especially in
Oh
Stealth
no,
1.
it would have been Ipatsu.
Oh man. Well, it's a little bit
Wait a
painful, but
second. It's still Tenpai. So someone else could double run?
oh
You could see
yeah.
a double run person?
Mhm.
I don't know if we have a double run. This might be no double run.
Yeah, we'll get some confirmation going here, but we will see.
We do also have the Tenpai here for Paradigm with all of them doors. All of those doors. But unfortunately no Iyaku to speak of. Yeah, cannot run that. I know it's a red tile, but cannot take it.
It looks so scary.
Oh.
Just like this, the 4.
The 4! Chris Kong!
Wow. Breaking out Tenpai at the last second.
So
A very disciplined move. You're right. That's the word I was looking for. It's going to be these payments coming from Chris to all 3 other players here who were in Tenpai. And we get another dealer round here for Paradigm.
Yes, expertly played by Chris Kong. You know, you pay 3,000 points, but when it's revealed, you have that, you know, relief in your heart. No dealing.
Yeah, I feel like whenever you get to that point where it's like you get to those payments and stuff like that, and all 3 people are in Tenpai, and maybe it wasn't totally obvious. It's like in the movies or whatever, whenever they're like camping or whatever, it's totally dark, and then like all the eyes pop up, and you're like, "Oh, I'm surrounded." I have been all this time.
Oh yes, I agree, 100%. Ooh, a very nice handy for Paradigm, no?
Wow.
Tenpai with a chance to use the red dragon.
Gonna find it.
Just run. Does not need to do that. 1 repeat. It's only 1,500, or oh sorry, 2,000. 40 fu, right? The concealed triplet of the white dragon, giving them a little bit more fu for that round up to 2,000 points. But yeah, the most important thing is the repeat, right? You got to keep going, get to keep getting more points. You're already in first place, so anything else is just the cherry on top.
Yeah, this is gonna be relatively slow opening hands for everybody here. It seems. Chris Gong gonna upgrade that shape there into the 1, 2, 3 with that draw, but nobody, you know, starting in like a 2-away position or anything like that here.
Yeah, Johnny could be another 7 pairs. It could be another half flush. We'll see. Could be another 7 pairs half flush.
You
It's
never
definitely possible.
know. Yeah, it's definitely possible. We've seen crazier things just in this past game, so you know, you never know.
I see some people asking in the chat if the code has been given away yet. Stay tuned, guys. It will be coming up shortly after these matches, so stick around. And there'll be more goodies tomorrow and during all the days of the stream. So always stay tuned.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Richie here for Chris Gong, waiting on the 8 of bamboo. So we'll see if this comes through. No Ipatsu. Wrong 8.
Wrong 8. Maybe if their name was Johnny, they might have found it.
Right? You know? When you're in the room with the guy, you know, you can't just pull out Ipatsus on him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you have to respect, right? It's like stealing someone's like fashion, for example. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's his whole identity. Come on.
Exactly. There it is. Act finding 2 8s already. So not gonna be dropping those, I think. We'll see. They do have Dora in hand. They can also use the 8s of bamboo, so we'll see. Definitely don't want to deal into the Richie.
Yeah, definitely want to avoid dealing in. It's gonna be A little bit closer to Tenpai here for Paradigm. Just waiting on this, south wind hand here. Gonna find the 4. Might drop it again just for safety. And dropping it from their hand to sort of conceal their draws here.
Yeah, it looks like he is folding, right? Because he's discarding the same tile over and over. So you think, oh, okay, he's discarding a triplet because it's safe. But, you know, he could still get back into Tenpai. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely could. Especially potting some stuff up here.
Yeah, I feel like one of the most underrated skills is being in dealer and doing exactly what Johnny's doing, right? Not dealing in, and even though you might not necessarily win, you're getting closer and closer to that Tenpai so that you can, in fact, stay on your dealership for longer. Try to get that dealer Mangan going.
Getting down to the final discards here, it's going to get a little bit harder to discern right from wrong. All 4 of these 8s are now in the active's hand.
Wow. That's
incredibly unfortunate. I think
yeah.
is the phrase.
I am bewildered. I'm stunned. Yeah, Pasta Johnny so close to the half flash or maybe full flash, but the 8 character is just too dangerous. You can't. It's too much, right?
Yeah, especially at this point in the game, heading into South Floor and stuff like that. So it's going to be the opposite of the last hand here. Chris Gong getting the payments from everybody else.
Yeah, so they effectively cancel each other out. All right. We'll see here. Chris Gong just got, 50 points back. We'll see if they manage to rack up some points here on the dealership. Self too. Still have a little bit of time before the game ends.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of an awkward hand here for Chris, starting out with 3 pairs in hand and stuff like that. Generally speaking, 2 pairs in your hand is pretty nice to have. You can lock one as a pair later on, turn the other one into a different shape or maybe a triplet. But with 3 pairs, it really starts to lock in your hand unless you're going for some sort of open hand, like we're seeing Paradigm do here.
Yeah, so this hand, quite good. I mean, you're in first place and you have double Yakuhai, so quite nice. Just want to finish it as quickly as possible.
So, Paradigm here in a solid lead, but all it takes is, like 1 dealer Mangan for Chris Gong come back in the lead here. So,
oh yes, absolutely.
It's never finished. It's never over till it's over.
Yeah, you never know when you're gonna just get a Richie Ipatsumo or two. It can always happen. We saw plenty of those highlights where exactly that happened, and all of a sudden, here they are in the top 16.
Yeah, and Tenpai for Paradigm here on the 4 of characters, but 3 of them are locked into people's hands at the moment. So, small chance that those come out, but, not a great chance to draw it themselves here. So,
yeah, we'll see. Quite a bit of an awkward hand there because you want to keep all the pairs, maybe go for all triplets, maybe go for Tanyao or pre-double sequence, but it's not quite the efficiency that you need.
Yeah, definitely some rough decision making here for Chris Gong. Again, with just those, pairs locking up the hand. The Riichi here for Ippatsujani on the 4 of Bamboo. So we'll see if it comes through. But another follow-up Riichi chased with Act here on the 4 and 7 here.
No, but it's okay. It's okay. Ippatsujani has this in the bag. It's in his name. It has to happen, right?
Yeah, it has to, right? Okay.
So close!
Really close.
No!
My heart skipped a beat.
Act is the one who finds the Ipatsu, the suspense. But instead it was Act who found the Riichi Ipatsu Tsumo Dora for the manga.
And that is actually going to put Act back in this game right now, sitting in second place now here in South 3. and still their dealership left to go in South 4. Looking like it could be the start of a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
otherwise,
Act.
some nice starting hands here for people.
I was gonna say that Act, they weren't last for so long, but just keeping, their head on their shoulders, just not dealing in, being extremely disciplined, and also stealing all the 8-so from the wall, and managing to come back. Very impressive.
All right. Looking good here for Chris Gong too. On a lot of these shapes. Not getting a upgrade there, but soon and very soon, I'm sure. And this Ipeko might come together for Epot's Johnny. Mentioned.
It's also a very far away vision of fully outside hand, maybe.
Wow, really nice pickup for V-Active here. With that 6, gonna connect a little bit more stuff there for them. Potential con waiting in their hand. So
I think, yeah, if you get Tenpai here, you definitely con and Richie. Although you can also use these 4s in a different way, maybe.
Chris Gong now in Tenpai though, so
Interesting.
gonna be able to call for that and try and keep sight of second place here, I guess.
Yeah, I think Act's plan is to use the 4 4s as a triplet in a sequence. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Potential for 7 pairs here for Epot's Johnny as well, as he's moving towards that sort of a setup.
And the pure double sequence here for Johnny, a little bit tricky. Doesn't know, but 2 of the 2-mans are in Chris Gong's hand, so we'll see what they make of that. Though the 7 pairs looks quite nice as well. The problem is the 2-man, if it comes out, it might deal into Chris Gong's hand. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so many tiles sort of get V-Active into Tenpai here. A lot of things to call and stuff like that. So that pawn coming out here is no surprise, getting it at Tenpai on the 3-6. So those 3s a little bit locked up in Chris Gong's hand, but you never know what happens. You might have to start folding anytime.
The 8 of Bamboo following suit after the Chris Gong's 8 of Bamboo discard as well. Just hoping to maximize those 7 pairs, but Chris Gong finds the Tsumo. Tanya Tsumo, 500, 1000. 2000 points total. Not a crazy big hand or anything, but it's sometimes what you need. Just Tanya Dora just gets you closer to at the end of the game, and also closes the gap a little bit. So now even a Tanya Dora is just enough to get you into that second place.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of chance for places to swap here, and Ipotsu Johnny not out of the running either for second place here. So we'll see how this hand goes. But Paradigm already pawning the White Dragon, looking to close out this game and just take first and run away with the bag.
Yeah, we'll see. Paradigm has pawned a lot of hands actually. A very high call rate, but I do think it makes a lot of sense to go for the speed, especially when you're in first.
Slight complication in that is that Paradigm is holding a red dragon right now. Probably going to have to get rid of it at some point, and that'll speed up V-Active's hand here as the dealer. So might see a little bit of a clash there.
Interesting. Yeah, the thing about this hand is that maybe you don't want to call the red dragons, you just want to go for the pure straight. If you draw the 2 of circles, this is a very scary hand to deal with. Okay, we do just have the pawn for the red dragons, maybe going for the pure straight half flush with Dora. That would be a massive hand here for Act and exactly what he needs. But he passes Johnny, reaches 2-5 pin. Oh, but they're all locked up in Chris Gong's hand. It is waiting on Dora
They
though.
really are. Wow.
Yeah, there's 3 left. Chief from Paradigm. Breaks the Ipatsu. Oh no, the counter.
Who could have seen it coming? Oh no.
Oh,
Oh, but draws the
Tremon.
3.
Tremon Tenpai for Act.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, and there it is. Paradigm deals into Act. And is that enough? Red Dragon, half flush Dora, 11,600.
yeah.
That is enough for the first. Although it does not end the game, I believe we keep going with the tournament rules. Now we have special rules, special dials we can turn on in the tournament lobby, and that's one of them. So usually in tournaments, for those of you who are not familiar, unlike in Mahjong Soul Ranked, you keep going until there's like a change in the wind, right? So instead of going into S1, it will just end the game. But until it does, it's all act. It's gonna be act to act, if you will.
I will, actually. That hand played out, more or less as we called it. Paradigm making calls, dropping the red dragon, letting the active get that hand here to push themselves into first place, and now a really solid starting hand for them, trying to find a connection to add this to a bamboo or 5 of bamboo. The other competitors at the table, though, still making headway on their hands. Ipatsu Johnny looking solid, but here comes the Ricci potentially. Yep, from the active, waiting on the 4/7 of bamboo.
Yeah, activating the blasting of speed, getting that Ricci from the dealer Ricci on turn 5 is just, when it happens, you just shake your head. I mean, like, what are you gonna do, right? You can't win like that. So it's so difficult to find a Tenpai when the Ricci is that early.
It's going to be maybe a little bit more, just like that touch more difficult to find this weight here, because this is a double-sided weight on the Dora. Typically, players are a little bit more cautious about those sort of discards, so this might be something that Act has to draw himself.
I mean, but if you want to draw yourself, a 2-sided weight is exactly what you need. We'll see if he manages to find it, though. Sometimes, it's crazy, because I swear sometimes you Ricci with like a 5-sided weight, and then someone comes along, Ricci's on a 1-tile weight, and suddenly Ipatsu, right? We'll see.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in Mahjong. I think that's why we love it so much, right?
Definitely, yeah. And like being able to adapt to, anything being able to happen,
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at this, though,
if you count them,
there's none left in the wall.
Yeah, there's none left in the wall. Yeah, I was
up.
about to say. Just realized.
So I
Wait a
appreciate,
second.
people catching that. So it will have to be discarded at this point. And now with this 3 coming out, there's a discard reading technique in Mahjong here called like My Neighbor is 4 Away. In Japanese, it's called Aide Yonken. And so you have the 3 and you have the 8 of bamboo, and there's 4 tiles inside of there. So you would have the double-sided weight on the 5/6. You can kind of tell that people are waiting on that 4/7 as Act is right now. So other players definitely going to be just that much more wary of the 4/7.
Yeah, because the 5/6 fits inside the 3/8, if that makes sense, in the space between them.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see if anybody manages to find Tenpai here, or if it's just going to be a fold and, move on to the next round and try and hope for something better whenever there's not a dealer reaching on turn 5.
Oh, Paradigm cheating for the potential Tenpai at the end, I think. We'll see. We'll see what he makes of this.
This is super, super high call rate, and maybe, at this point in the game, maybe it's a bluff. Who knows? Trying to get other people to deal in here so that he can get second place.
Maybe he's going for the extremely rare Under the River only. This is Yaku.
I would love to see that. That'd be great.
So my secret commentary is just try to think of the funniest thing that could happen and then hype it up and then have it happen.
If it happens, then we look incredible. It's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it might just be a fold here for everyone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, none of the tiles available for Act. But We do have another round, so Act gonna continue here on the dealer. Ooh, wow, these are some nice shapes. Two mouths, two pairs, and another possible meld in the 1, 2, 3 bamboo, and a lot of characters. Half flush is possible here. There it is, another one.
Yeah.
The Dora is the south, so Pasajani does have it, which, you know, is exactly what you need when you're looking for a comeback. A pawn of the south could spell Mangan very soon for the opponents.
Very true. With all the calling and all that we've seen from Paradigm, I would not be surprised if we see an open hand with this pair of green dragons from them. Might just try and look to get out with second place here. So, you know, a lot of different ways that this hand could go, but a really pretty starting hand here for V Active. There's that green dragon. Paradigm gonna pawn it here. So keeping that tempo up as we were talking about there. No pawn from V Active, probably the smarter decision here. Giving them more options to change up their hand, fold however they might want to go for. So.
And now's the deciding moment. Yeah, okay, so Act does decide to drop some of his Mon for the pure straight chance. So now this is a hand that can cheat. Or just go for the Shadow Template. As we're talking about earlier, this you don't always have to reach you.
Could very well be Shadow Template. Could Reachy, as he does, winning on the 7 for that pure straight.
Yeah. So the downside to this is that now, you know, locked into this hand, but if you win this hand, it's massive. If you sumo the 7, it's probably a Mangan.
Here's the imposter chance, doesn't find it. But you know what? To do that again in the face of Apasu Johnny would just be hypocrisy, so I understand it.
So we do have 1 7 left in the wall. We'll see if Act manages to find it.
Paradigm not having much luck here with the draws and not really finding anything to continue the hand here, at least not yet. So probably the closest competitor out of everybody else.
I was going to say earlier, Ipatsu Johnny has a perfect candidate hand. And I know it's gonna sound like, you know, I just love 7 pairs more than I should, but you know, when you need to make a hand that gets you to come back, and the Dora is the honor. What better hand, right, than 7 pairs?
Yeah, especially because all of those souths, not that, you know, Ipatsu Johnny knows this necessarily, but you know, all those souths are still on the wall. Still a lot of potential draws here for that hand to come together. So, could even be looking at like a long tail, like 3 concealed triplets or something. Who knows?
Yeah, so still no 7 Mon to be found. And the problem is Chris Gong is getting closer and closer to completing their hand, and the problem is this hand could actually be very scary. 2 Dora in hand. We'll see.
Yeah, it's at this point in South 4 where every little decision matters. Everything that you're doing affects another player. So these discards are just getting harder and harder to make decisions on. So as we sort of get to the last 10 discards here, it's going to be interesting to see how players play defensively, especially with these Dora still to be drawn.
Yeah, Johnny's still just holding on to that south, hoping to draw it. Folded for a bit, but, you know, could still try to mount a comeback. Looks like it's just going to be a fold, recognizing, you know, you can just try again the next round. Everyone's probably going to be paying 1,000 points to the dealer, so if you just fold, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be payouts to V Active here, with everybody else kind of drawing Dora, not willing to discard them for any sort of potential calamity there. So plus 3,000 points for V Active there.
All right, and it's repeat 3 true Richie sticks on the bank. That's 2,900 points extra. So everyone's gonna be wanting a piece of that. But we'll see if Act manages to yet again bully the table into giving him some more points.
Yeah. And, you know, a good point being brought up here is that Viactive calling this Ricci, calling all that sort of stuff last match, being 12th in the standings, they need more points to make sure that they secure a top 8 placement moving on to semifinals, kind of metagaming here. So it's not as simple as just hitting first place now. It's also about placement points and trying to, you know, get your way to the top of the standings.
Mm-hmm. Looks like finally Paradigm woke up with a pretty good hand, some very nice shapes. Looks like a potential Pinghu or maybe Tanyao. See? These can be dropped for some pawns here. Some cheese. We do see a Pasajani also cheating, getting that Dora 2 hand started.
Yeah, finding some good shapes, Izzy Pasujani, and also finding some good south winds there as Viactive might be able to, you know, win another game here, another hand. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Paradigm drawing the 8 of Bamboo could pivot to a mixed triple sequence Tanyao. See? Or maybe just all simples, you know, just get that second place and get out of there because it's so scary. We do have the Ricci from Chris Gong waiting on the 2 of circles only. Not quite mixed triple sequence, was almost there, but just wanted to get out of this game, get that win, get out of there. No Ipatsu.
Yeah, the 2 being drawn here, not needed by Ipatsu Johnny.
Ipatsu
It's gonna be Chris Gong taking second place. It looks like Ricci Uradora, just enough points to get in there with the repeats. So gonna be a solid second place for Chris Gong and going positive on those Uma.
All right, so that I believe was the final game of this round. So we do have Act putting on a show for us, winning with first place 40,900. Chris Kong right behind with 26,700, and Paradigm 21,800. And Ipasajani unfortunately dealing in there at the very end. So that's gonna be it for this game. We'll see soon how the standings are, and we also just some clarification. Multi-run is on, so no head bump. So if 2 people drop the same tile that deals into 2 players, those 2 players will win. So definitely very scary. Want to end up in that situation for sure.
Yeah, it has the potential to be very, very explosive, especially with the kind of hands that these people are building. You know, everything seems to be, you know, a Mongon, especially in that first game that we just saw in game 2. You know, just, you know, sumo, Mongon. So, very, very explosive games and some really, really great competition here.
All right, so it looks like we got the results from the top 16 quarterfinals game 2. Chunman, as we saw, took a fourth. Unfortunately, they took a first in the first game though, so now it's kind of even out. Bobrick with the first place. The game though, one of the games that we didn't watch, the one with Light Pink Yoshi, Suzume, Legis, and Jaffa Orange. Light Pink Yoshi, so took that second, and this one looks like Light Pink Yoshi ran away with that. Looks to be the highest win of a single game so far. And the other game is Sparrowhawk, Red Panda, Sully, and Buckets. Sparrowhawk got the upper hand out of that game, just like they got the first place on the other game. So, with that, what do you think then, Hote? I don't remember exactly all of the scores, so maybe you can give me some insight?
Yeah, so we actually have the scores right here, so thank you to the staff for getting that together so quickly. So, Sparrowhawk and Light Pink Yoshi have had good back-to-back games here. Same thing with Suzume, so they are the top 3 right now at 57.3, 44.6, and 42.5. And then going down the list, we have Chris Gong 27, Bobrick, Red Panda, Viactive, and Paradigm. If nothing changes at all, those are going to be your semifinalists there over on the left. Still one more game to play though, so anything can change. And then on the right, we have Chunman at plus 4.6. So just being positive doesn't necessarily guarantee you a semifinal spot now. And then Sonex, VN, Legis, Sully, Durdoli, Buckets, Ipatsu Johnny, and Jaffa Orange rounding out the bottom 8 there.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. We'll see what the players can make out of this. Looks like Sonic V and Legis is really in that mid 25 range where you can still win like 10 points or maybe 40 if you get a good first. So we're gonna be looking for that. Jaffa Orange is gonna need lots of help. Maybe a Yakuman like we saw someone win. We saw the 4 concealed triplets single pair win. So on the qualifiers for the top 16. So maybe something like that can happen. We have seen some Yakuman B1 on stream before, so definitely could happen. But yeah, for now, those are the leaders on the left, and we'll see what happens in the next game.
Yeah, super exciting. But I have a question for you, Irie.
What's that?
Are you feeling generous? Feeling like you might want to give something
Generous?
back to the audience?
Are you guys feeling lucky? Because today we have the lucky gift code for you guys.
Everybody's lucky.
Yes, you guys know that we always have these for you, and you're already asking about it. And here it is, for everyone's benefit. Everyone gets a little bit of something today, and we have the gift code JW7EQ2SMAVAG is on screen right now. It's also on the YouTube chat, and you can enter it, you can claim it by going into the settings in your Mahjong Soul client on the browser only. So please be careful. You need to go to the browser client, log in, go into settings, and then click on others, and there will be a gift code button right there. And yeah, in the chat pinned, you might be able to see the message. It's also written there in the chat, so I'll post it for you guys.
Yes, and important to know that this code expires when the stream starts tomorrow for semifinals. So that's January 23rd, 7 p.m. UTC 7. So that's Mountain Time for US users. So 9 p.m. EST and 6 p.m. PST. So make sure you get it in by then.
Yep, tell your friends, tell your pets who play Mahjong, obviously. Tell everyone.
Spread the good news.
Spread the good news and tell them to come watch. I mean, you guys have seen how exciting it can be. Those one-turn Tenpai wins, also known as Ipatsu, but not Ipatsu when you don't reach it. But it's still impressive regardless.
Very nice. So we have the gift code here. But even still, you know, maybe the audience is feeling lucky.
And we have something for you guys who are feeling lucky.
Yeah,
we have the live stream lucky draw. So we're gonna have another one like we had earlier. We're gonna have a lucky draw. All you need to do is how should we decide this one?
I think we should do another question. I think if the chat answers Ari's question here, you'll be put into the lottery.
I know a good one. What is your guys' favorite tile? I think you guys know what my tile is because I share it with Tips and Tricks. We are old school trio of bamboo lovers. It's just such a nice shape, you know? Such a good tile.
It is a good tile.
I'm surprised it's old school now, but I guess that's true.
I mean, we've been loving Sanzos for what, like 5 years now at this point.
Yeah, maybe more than that.
Yeah, maybe a bit more than that. At least for me.
I can't even argue. I can't even argue.
You are my senpai. My Sanzo senpai, if you will.
Sanzo senpai, I'll take it.
Very nice. I saw a very interesting answer in the chat. So I saw somebody say, and this is not, anything, but Someone said the Limitless Osira tile. That's pretty interesting.
Ooh.
The random tile and stuff like that. If I have to choose, I'm gonna say the Green Dragon. I see some people in chat agreeing with me. It's the it's the Green Dragon.
I
It's
mean-
like a very fancy looking tile. It means
Yeah.
fortune. All that sort of stuff. So
It's
if you
got
have it
very
in your
good
hand,
meaning.
maybe you'll have a good fortune.
Personally, I mean, I'm like, if I had to choose, I mean, because you do have to choose sometimes. Like sometimes you have a hand and like one of them has to go, and you have the red, the white, and the green. So which one do you pick first? And which one do you pick last? I always save the green dragon for last because it's just it's the best dragon in my opinion. So I don't know. I do see the appeal of all the other dragons. Like the red dragon is like, it's very neat, very clean. It's a very mahjong tile in my opinion. It's like, it is the mahjong emoji, right? The red dragon.
Yeah, that's
So
very true.
it's a pretty good dragon too. I saw some people saying 8-pin. I'm a huge fan of the 8-pin too.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. I'll give you a drum roll. I think we can draw our winner. Irie, who do we have? Whose favorite
Who do
tile?
we have? It is going to be
Pasta Sam. Congratulations, Pasta Sam, who also
Pasta
likes the
Sam.
green dragon, the Hatsu there. Congratulations,
Pasta Sam.
Don't forget
Man
to.
after my own heart.
I think pasta's pretty popular. But, standing on business, don't forget to email so you can claim your fortune charm, your 30-day fortune charm, mjs.cs@yo-star.com. Include in that email your YouTube ID as well as your Mahjong Soul ID so we know who wrote it and we know which account to give the fortune charm to. Congratulations and thanks for participating in the lucky draw.
congratulations! I hope you enjoy your fortune charm and all the jade that comes with it. I hope you get a character with a jade roll. The character you want, your fated character, if you will.
Yeah, good fortune has served Pasta Sam well.
Yes, from all of the caster team, I hope you get the character you want.
Yeah.
And I believe now, you guys will be taking over again. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Ooh.
Tips took a nap in the staff room, and now is back and ready to commentate. So as always, I will give it away to Tips and Tricks. But before I go, thank you guys so much for having me. It's always a pleasure commentating, and don't think you can get rid of me so easily. I'll be here tomorrow too. So if you want to hear more of me, and I'll be joined by a new commentator as well, Ichigo. So look forward to hearing her commentary. It's gonna be her first time here at Cafe Bowl, so yeah, look forward to that. And I hope you guys look forward also to some more Tips and Tricks commentary, some Tehote commentary. I hope you guys give them some love.
Thank you, Irie. Thank you. And of course, give Irie some love, our amazing commentator here, for that
Thank you.
second game of the quarterfinals. Whew. Tenhote, you've been working the microphone for 2 games now.
Oh, I know. It's been really exciting though. I'm not fading. I'm keeping on going. I want to keep seeing what's happening, So big thanks to Irie for, commentating with me. Always a pleasure. Always great to have Irie. But Tips and Tricks, Tenhote, the Power Hour, back again. So gonna look forward to game 3 here, see how these standings mix up.
That's good. Our third game here, the tables have been decided. The standings have been confirmed, as we say. So this means that the tables are seeded based on how our first 16 have played out. Our first 2 games, rather. Our top 16 here. They've been playing 2 games so far. And we're going into the third game. We've got Light Pink Yoshi, Chris Gong, Paradigm, and Chunman on the first feature table for our first game. The active Sizmi Sun XVN and Jaffa Orange on the second table. Bobrick, Red Panda, Legius, and Ipatsu Johnny on the third table. And we got Sparrowhawk, Sully Derduli, and Buckets on the fourth table there. So this is going to be pretty interesting. I believe our table 1 here has a lot of players very close to the cutoff.
Yeah, so these tables here are based on the Game 2 standings and Game 2 only, not the overall standings necessarily. But in that first table there, you have Light Pink Yoshi, you have Chris Gong, you have Paradigm, all members of the top 8 here.
Yeah.
And my memory's not good enough to remember the fourth person.
Chun Man at number
there you go.
9.
So right at that cutoff, right? So this
Yeah.
is the top flight table that we're going to be watching here. So some really good stuff upcoming here as we're just waiting in the last couple seconds here to get into that match.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting match. I guess we have seen all these players so far. Did we see Yoshi? I think we did. Yeah, we did.
We did.
Did see a little bit of Yoshi. But this one is going to decide, I think, who qualifies. Of course, some of these players in the negatives can easily cross over to the positives. The placement points, or the UMA, are plus 15 and plus 5, which aren't that much, but in addition to the first place, of the points that you win from the game, we've seen some 30s, we've seen some, I think, 140 or a 39.5, so very close to 40. So that could definitely bring 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th back into the positives, as well as 14th, 15th, 16th. They're just going to have to do an even better job than anyone's done in the first 2 games. And we haven't seen any Yakuman yet. Like Irie's saying, a Yakuman can definitely turn it around for any of our 16 players.
Oh yeah, and especially in the initial match, you know, there was the highlights that we saw of the top 16 and all that sort of stuff. Yakuman's being traded back and forth, even a double Yakuman at one point there with the Suon Kotanki in that highlight video. So these players know how to get to those Yakuman, and they know how to win games. You know, that's what these players do. So the swings here in the rankings that you might very well see is that the cutoff here is around 17, 18 points here for V-Active and Paradigm. But, you know, a third place or, you know, a fourth place might be, you know, somewhere around like negative 20 points. And for, you know, people in 10th, 11th, 12th, you know, a good first place could be, you know, plus 30, all that sort of stuff. And so that shift might get different people into the top 8 here. So nothing is finalized here. Still a lot more Mahjong to be played.
Exactly. It's pretty good to think about like plus minus 0 as your goal. Like that's where you want to end up. Although it's looking like we're probably going to need a little more than that to make it into top 8. So as we get into our final game of the day, final game of the quarterfinals, I think our players are probably looking to aim for plus 10. I mean, even plus 10 might not be safe. Maybe players should be looking to aim for plus 15. It'll be hard to say. But I hope everybody knows their score. I hope everybody knows what they need to win. And here we are. So what are we looking at?
We were talking about Yakuman here, potentially. And looking at Chunman 10, there's quite a bit of explosive mixture that could happen here already with 2 Onko. Looking at a con already. And, you know, maybe looking to fill some of these other pairs, you know?
Yeah.
So, really, really explosive potential here, especially with that con.
Yeah, Chunman has already discarded 4 and 5 pin here. So maybe it really is Yakuman or bust right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, looking at Light Pink Yoshi's hand, I think he has the same exact thought process here. Could potentially be seeing a 13 orphans from that hand.
It's funny because none of the players in this game are in the low scores that necessarily need the Yakuman, but these scores, the scores they earn now, will carry them all the way to the finals. Like, it'll be halved each day, but at least some of the scores that each of the players earns will make it to the finals.
Ooh! Excellent sumo there. That's going to be 3 concealed triplets off
Yep.
of that. Because of the closed con there, it looks open, but it's going to be closed. So all triplets, 3 concealed triplets, red 5. Very nice dealer manga on there.
It feels
Not
like
something
it
you
should
see
be
every day.
more. It feels like
Yeah.
it should be more than a manga and how good the hand looks. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
very
really
close to,
argue
like,
with
a potential outcome
12,000.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not entirely surprising to see these players going for these really bombastic and explosive hands, even though 3 of them are in the top 3, and then Chunman's in 9th in standings currently. So the reason why they might go for that is because of the metagame of, okay, these other people are in the top flight. They are clearly strong competitors. If I can hit somebody with a Yakuman and knock them out of top 8, that's a competitor that I don't have to worry about, right?
It's true. You never know when you're gonna put somebody else in top 8 that you didn't want to face, though.
Exactly. So it's a strange balance, especially because sometimes these top flight players might have experience against each other in these top
Right.
flight tournaments and stuff like that. Like you and I have both played Mahjong against Light Pink Yoshi and stuff like that. So it's a lot of potential for that there. But Tenpai found for Chunman here on the 5-8, looking to get the red dragon hand here and just get another repeat.
Oh!
Gonna find it!
Right off the bat. That's an interesting discard. I guess it really is the least efficient top with Paradigm. So Paradigm is still in. Like, technically, Paradigm is currently in the top 8, but they are the closest to falling out. Of course, Chunman is 9th, and so he's doing exactly what he needs to do to get back in the top 8. But Paradigm has got to be a little worried here. I don't think a 4th place is going to allow them to make it through.
Yeah, and Chunman has these great starting hands right now, definitely on a roll as the dealer here. A good amount of pairs in this starting hand, could go for 7 pairs, but also those pairs are connected to other tiles and stuff like that. So a lot of tile acceptancy going on here. A lot of different things can push them to Tenpai. So looking like it could be another dealer repeat, but as we've seen in previous games, Paradigm opening their hand, really pushing to find Tenpai and stuff like that before other people can build value, which has done really well for them so far.
Yeah, even with the extra Dora here that they've drawn with the 5, so they're going for the half flush for even more points. The race for 2nd place is extremely close. Paradigm wouldn't need those points per se, but it is East 1, and so there's definitely no guarantee that if you get like a 1,000 point lead here, that it would last all the way to South 4. So we'll see whether the taking a little bit of a slower route works out for Paradigm, if they can still win the hand with all the extra points from the half flush, or whether they're actually going to, like, as I was talking, they kind of changed their mind and discarded the green dragon to keep the 1-2 pin in their hand. But out comes the 2 pin, and so it looks like they're going back because now they've got all the shapes they need, going for the half flush.
And Chris Gong with a really interesting switch in their hand right now. Had that sort of 7 pairs one away, and now dropping the pair of 2s in favor of even like a potential for like Rion Peiko or something here. Trying to find that value in the hand, at least Peiko.
Yeah, small chance of the twice pure double sequence, the Rion Peiko, where you have basically 2 Ipeikos in the hand. Although
Right.
it would be hard to discard the white dragons from this, I think. That is a very interesting tile.
It's really cool to watch these hands come together and have these interesting hands come together and interesting decisions being made by these top players, watching it in real time. As a commentator, you don't always catch these little different details and stuff like that, but it's going to be the Richie coming out here for Chris Gong, who finds Tenpai, despite switching up their hand so much, waiting on that 3-6.
Yeah, because the white dragons are the pair and the white dragons are a value honor, it is not Pinfu, so one Han lost there, but I don't think Chris Gong cares too much with so many Dora in hand and the possible pure double sequence, the Ipeko there. Oh, there's the winning tile, but Yoshi probably wants that.
Yoshi probably wants that and can probably sense that it might be something that Chris Gong wants.
Paradigm now,
and
Tenpai.
Paradigm now, Tenpai waiting on the 2. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But for Chris Gong, not a lot of tiles to be drawn here. Gonna be hard to find.
Notice with Chris Gong and Ricci, Paradigm chose not to con the 1, so technically it's not even a safe. No, it is safe to Chris Gong because Chris Gong had discarded earlier. Paradigm pawned it, but sometimes you con just so you can get the extra draw. I think Paradigm too scared of dealing into Chris Gong here. Didn't want to do the con.
Yeah, and Paradigm there at the end switching up the weight from just the 2 to the 2-5, finding that extra Dora. But it won't come through, it'll just be another repeat round, and it's Paradigm's dealership now, so some potential to close this gap against Chunman.
Yeah, with Light Pink Yoshi not making Tenpai at the end of that hand, Paradigm slips up into 3rd place, Light Pink Yoshi slipping all the way from 2nd to 4th. And the battle for 2nd place is still extremely close right now. Chunman still maintaining his lead on the entire table, but everybody else has 1 or 2 dealers left. So,
looking at the hands around the table, there's a lot of pairs in people's hands right now. Could be a lot of pawns, a lot of open hands here. In the case of Chris Gong using that white dragon to seal these Dora into their hand, could be a potential explosive pick for them, or just going for 7 pairs. But these pairs could either dictate the flow of your hand or clog it up a little bit.
Oh, so Chunman decided to go fast here. Did not believe in the pairs and triplets. Chunman looking for the red dragon. That's the Yaku that will complete his hand. Otherwise, he has no Yaku. It might be a good thing that he's going fast because Chris Gong is 1 away from 4 concealed triplets. Suanko. Chance for that Yakumon that we've been talking about.
Very explosive potential here at this table. Lots of pairs means potentially lots of triplets. And really going to be excited to see it if it happens for Chris Gong here.
Oh, and we have a 3-so Tenpai for Light Pink Yoshi. 2 of them in Chunman's hand. There's 1 left in the wall. Call is made. Now Chunman also waiting on 3-so, but no Yaku there, so really only the red dragon for now for Chunman. This last 3-so is still in the wall somewhere. Chance for Paradigm to call, but no Yaku. Would have to discard the Norths. Okay. Are they going to do it, or are they just looking for Tenpai? Paradigm does discard the North. Chance to change the weight. Doesn't do it. Light Pink Yoshi believes in 3-so here. Chris Gong Tenpai. It's Chris Gong.
Calls it on the Dora.
Yeah. Oh, that's a red dragon. Tough draw here for Yoshi. And Yoshi's gonna fold here.
Very smart fold, very disciplined, as we've sort of been talking about. The constant with all of these players is that in order to get to where they are, defense is such a huge deal for them.
And so Chris
Gong,
Gong,
even as these Dora come out.
yeah, Chris Gong reaching on Dora means Paradigm still thinks Dora is safe. Sometimes somebody reaches on Dora, you try and slip a Dora in a couple turns later, and one of the other players has decided to wait on it because they expected it, but not in this case.
That happens a little bit too much in my games for my liking, so I'm gonna try not to speak too much on that.
Definitely a trap you have to watch out for at times. One way to really look for that is to watch players, see if they're discarding tiles from the middle of their hand or they're discarding the tile they drew. Usually if they keep discarding the tile they drew, they haven't changed their weight, so you can safely discard that Dora. But if they mix it up, you might end up dealing in. So Chunman had folded. This would have been Chunman's winning tile, but too afraid to discard the 7-mon. We'll see if he maintains that belief, and indeed he does.
Yeah, decides not to take the Tenpai there. And this will be the final tile coming down for Light Pink Yoshi, and it's going to be only Chris Gong in Tenpai.
So the game is so close that these Tenpai payments are changing the placements. Chris Gong now, being the only one Tenpai, moves up into 2nd place. And Light Pink Yoshi still in 4th. Paradigm getting overtaken because Paradigm was not Tenpai as well.
For me, it's a little jarring that we're only in East 3 after that first game around 2.
It was
at this point, we were already
fast.
done with the first game.
It was
So,
absurdly fast. This one is currently on 4 repeat counters, or 4 home, but that's because we've run into so many draws, and also a couple repeat wins from the dealer, but honestly, it has mostly just been draws.
yeah, so no matter what hand a player gets right now, it's 3,200 extra points left on the table.
Yeah,
And it's going to be a Tenpai for Chris Gong here with the South Winds and 2 Dora.
see what
So,
Yoshi does with
potentially
this hand,
big
because the red 5 is double Dora, so I think that's why Yoshi didn't call the 3 so pwn. And in this case, it would have been disastrous if Yoshi had discarded it because it deals into Chris Gong already. Chris Gong was such a fast Tenpai here. Yoshi needs a 4 so now.
Yeah, Chris Gong with not the easiest weight to find. Those Dora, of course, locked into people's hands, and only 1-3 to draw for the 3 characters.
That's
Not
right.
impossible. We've definitely seen crazier things today, but not going to be easy.
Ooh, Paradigm has the chance to call here, but it would make their hand a lot less valuable. Still can win on the Dora, though. So now a lot of players looking for this Dora. Paradigm, Chris Gong, both Tenpai looking for the Dora. Though there are more of the 8 so, the other side of Paradigm's weight, than there are of the 3-mon, which is the other side of Chris Gong's weight. So Paradigm's slightly favored here. In fact, Chunman might end up discarding it. Oh, doesn't do it.
Smart move.
Good read from Chunman here.
Light Pink Yoshi also slowly moving towards Tenpai has good potential to be able to find the tile that he needs in
Yeah,
either
Yoshi-
Chi or something.
Yoshi's hand has been improving little by little, and it's in a pretty good spot now, but it is importantly not Tenpai, whereas our other 3 players are. And
It's gonna be the Sumo coming out for Paradigm here, just an all simples hand. But again, that 3,200 points coming in for the Riichi sticks and the Honba here, the repeat counters.
That's
So-
right. A big win for Paradigm here, because the scores are so close. Paradigm is in 2nd again. The positions just keep changing. It's hot potato for 2nd place right now. But because Chunman has not really been Tenpai the past couple hands, we are kind of encroaching on that 1st place lead. It's only 12,000 points. Well, exactly 12,600. But our players are definitely getting to the point where Chunman could be overtaken. And if Chunman falls to 2nd, it might be a bit of a toss-up to see if Chunman qualifies.
Yeah, Light Pink Yoshi here definitely has the best starting hand. Already has, those 2 or 3 completed melds.
And that's gonna
Could
help.
even find, not gonna find the double sequence there. But gonna call Riichi waiting on the 8. Might as well take it while you have it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest weight. I think Yoshi mostly called it because it's hard to use the Dora, the 9-mon, in any other way than whatever Yoshi's just drawn. But it is going to be a hard way to win. Waiting for the Dora indicator. Obviously, that means one copy of it is already off the table. Only 3 left, and we see Chunman's got 1, which leaves 2 left in the wall. For this kind of a wait, honestly, I think 2 left is still pretty good.
That's fair.
It is early, though. It wasn't early Ricci. I'll make it 1 as Paradigm catches a copy of the 8-mon.
Yeah, and you have to imagine that if the 8 comes into Chris Gong's hand, that'll probably be kept.
Yeah,
Based
I
on
mean, Chris
the
Gong
hand
can really
that you
use
have.
it as well. Although Chris Gong might have like 1 too many at some point, and if the 8 is on the end, it might be the one that gets discarded. Yeah, that's a huge draw there. Chris Gong now with an Ipeiko, a mixed triple sequence. This is not the greatest late for Chris Gong either, but it is Tenpai. Big difference here is Chris Gong does not have to Ricci because he does have a Yaku. So he can choose to wait around. The other thing is there's no tips, so our players have to figure out how to get to Tenpai on their own. It will say Ricci, so it does let the players know that they are Tenpai, but they have to figure out how and which are the right tiles to discard.
Finding Tenpai is Paradigm opening their hand once again.
Yeah, Paradigm doesn't have Yaku here. They're just looking for the payment at the end, at the draw. We'll see if they can maintain the shape, because there are a lot of dangerous tiles and a lot of dangerous players here right now. 2 tiles left. 8 so is a little bit scary. It's not too bad, but it's scary enough that Paradigm switches it for the 9. Feels the 9 is a bit safer. Works out. Paradigm stays Tenpai. Last chance for Chris Gong here. Doesn't find it. And in fact, it's going to break Tenpai. Too scary. Too scary.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And the standings don't change here, but the points do draw ever closer. Chris Gong with an interesting starting hand with the pairs of the East and the South and the 9.
That is quite a beautiful hand. I do like it. Woohoo! Maybe just going for the outside hand, the Chanta. Whereas Chunman doing the opposite, going for the inside hand, the Tanyo.
Well, it will be a really pretty hand to see come together here. But I'm sure the other players will have something to say about it. Paradigm drawing some tiles that, advance their hand pretty well. Same thing with light pink Yoshi over yonder. Finding some pairs.
It's funny because the tiles that Chris Gong doesn't want are the tiles Chunman wants. Actually, Chunman breaks his only pair to keep the 2 open-ended weights. It's looking pretty good though. Chunman is still 1 away from Tenpai. A lot of different tiles will get Chunman to Tenpai. Chris Gong now collecting the South means that he does not have to do Chanta. So he can use the pair of 8-mon in his hand. And in fact he will. Out comes the Dora. Whew. That's a sigh of relief. There's actually no Dora in anybody's hand. The rest of the Dora are all in the wall.
Pretty incredible coincidence so far.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah, Yoshi's going to take the chance.
Yeah. Nice little upgrade there for Paradigm with that 5 draw. But not much happening for light pink Yoshi at the moment. And it's going to be Tenpai found for Chunman on the 7 of characters.
Yeah, Paradigm needs that 7 of characters as well, but Paradigm is not Tenpai. So can't win here. That's trouble for Yoshi. We still have a lot of game to play, but Yoshi, even though he's currently in 2nd place, getting a 4th place here definitely puts you at danger of falling off the cutoff. So I think Yoshi would definitely be aiming for 3rd place, I believe. Maybe even
Absolutely.
2nd still. And there's still a lot of game to play. 2nd isn't that far away. But first place did get further away from second place right now. Chunman extending his lead.
Yeah, because when we last left off, if we're talking about the metagame here in placement points, Light Pink Yoshi in this sort of position, the cutoff was 17 points, but the paradigm, Richie here, waiting on the 4-7 pin. Gonna find the Ipatsu Sumo. Absolutely incredible there. Paradigm getting further into second place with Richie, Ipatsu, Sumo, Pinfu, Dora. 2 red 5s and the Uradora gonna make it a Baimon.
The Uradora is enormous there. What a sumo. You know, the hand had just started. And we had been, I guess, accustomed to long drawn out hands. There were so many draws that went all the way to the end. That one, it basically caught us off guard, I think. At least it caught me off guard.
And it was a sumo Baimon with Chunman, who was in first place, now second place as the dealer. So catapulting Paradigm into first place here now. And that gap is just widening and widening for Light Pink Yoshi, who in the standings coming into this game was second place, I believe.
Yeah.
In the standings. So a tough position to be in for Light Pink Yoshi, but the dealership still to go for Light Pink Yoshi. Still not over yet by any means, especially for a player of his caliber.
For sure. Paradigm here looking to make another addition to their point total. They're 1 away. They have a really nice hand here. Have a Dora. And maybe Pinfu, maybe Tanya, like the all simples. Maybe it's just an open hand calling, but I think a lot of value would be lost if Paradigm makes the call on this end. You can see Chunman trying to get first back because Chunman definitely worried that second place might not be enough. Like, most likely second place is enough, but there's a chance it's not. So Paradigm is going to call though.
Yep, getting called for that Tenpai on the 2-5 of characters. And Light Pink Yoshi is going to answer back with a call of their own, trying to move towards Tenpai here. But holding on to that 5.
Yeah, that 5 unfortunately deals in for Yoshi. We'll see if he can maintain it or not. Oh, a chance to switch weight for Paradigm, although the 1-mon does not win because it has no Yaku. Just going to switch it through. Oh, right on time! That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is insane. Seeing, you know, the drop of the 2, if Light Pink Yoshi is really paying attention there, you can see the hand being swapped up. But it doesn't matter because the 3 is going to be found by Paradigm. Another sumo for our current first place contender here. All Simples Dora. Going to put them further into the lead here with the dealer repeat.
It worked anyway. That's crazy. So many different swaps. Paradigm has been drawing all the tiles they need to win this game. Chris Gong's hand doesn't look too great so far, but that is their wind. The west.
That white pickup's really nice. So going to be looking to force half flush here. Is Chris Gong probably, or maybe just keep that 4 of bamboo as a potential connection to the Dora. But
here we go.
For half flush instead.
Half flush is on the table. Everybody except Chunman currently in the top 8, and even Chunman is just on the cusp at number 9. So everyone's okay with second place here. I feel like Chunman is a little bit dicey about it, but I think Chunman would also be okay with second place. I think he's definitely aiming for first though on this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be Paradigm with a pretty lucky draw there, finishing that 1-2-3, and being able to drop the 5 that gets taken away. But now it's gonna be waiting on the 2 is Chris Gong. It's gonna be found immediately. Chunman.
Well, that's actually a big problem for Chunman. I think that's
gonna be a manga.
I think that's a point swap. Not quite, not quite. So Chunman holds on to second, but that's 8,000 less points, which is -8 to his overall score. So a second at this score is definitely what's the word? Debatable, questionable. It's not guaranteed. It's worrisome, I guess, as a player.
Yeah.
And then
It's worrisome, but you can't play scared in this position.
right. You know, sometimes you just have to take the score that you can get and hope it's enough. Because you can't push a hand that's not worth a lot to try and be worth a lot unless you really have to. Sometimes it makes your chance of winning much lower. Yoshi is actually playing big here.
Yeah, not calling that green dragon.
Oh, it pays
Being
off
patient and waiting for it.
immediately.
Don't call it a comeback if he never left the building. Waiting on that 3 and 6.
This
No
is-
Ipatsu.
I mean, it
But
is.
it looked like it could have happened with that amount of luck.
Yeah, it is just Ricci with Green Dragon right now, but there is over 10 Fu in the hand. So when you add it to the rest of the hand, it could be 50 Fu on a Roan or 40 Fu on a Sumo, which does push it to be especially more valuable, especially as the dealer. That jumping the Fu barrier on a hand that is 2 or 3 Han can be worth a ton of points as the dealer.
Oh, and another 3 drawn here for Chris Gong. Not going to fall for it, though. Drops the 1 pin instead. And we keep on going here as I think Yoshi is still looking for this 3-6.
Yeah, although considering Yoshi's score, I'm pretty sure he's really looking for the Mangan. Hoping to sumo so he can get the sumo as 1 extra Han as well, and then maybe flip 2 or 3 Uradora even. Could happen.
Would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, how many white dragons do we see right now? Oh, 2. There's only 1 when I said that. No,
Yeah.
there were 2
Oh,
in the
there's 3.
discard.
Yeah, there were 2. Now
So
there's
that's the 3rd one. That means there's still one possible chance. Dora for Chunman here. Yeah, Chunman's not gonna take any risks here.
Yeah, especially, you know, dealer Ricci, the players in last, all that sort of stuff. So, really, this is the worst possible thing that you could deal into.
Right.
So, no reason to push.
Yeah, Chris Gong's in a tough spot too, but able to find some reasonable tiles to discard. Middle Suji, 6-0. It's safe this time. Because Yoshi is on an open-ended weight, a 2-sided open-ended weight, so all Suji will work against this. Of course, the other players don't know that, but it's been working out for them.
Yeah, definitely.
So Yoshi doesn't win, but that's 3,000 points. That's not bad.
Another pretty solid opening hand for Yoshi, not too bad. So, gonna be able to open a hand with Dora and also some pretty good shapes. So, nothing to scoff at here. Definitely still in the running, especially completing that 2-3. So,
yeah, I think all
Very
of our players are about even speed. Paradigm does have the ability to open a little bit with the south, and Chris Gong on the right can open with a Tanya or an all simples. Yoshi and Chunman look like they're gonna have to play closed hands, but everyone is about the same amount of tiles away from Tenpai, so this should be a close match.
yeah, this whole competition, we've seen Paradigm open their hand and try and go for speed.
Yeah, no
as they're
reason to
doing right
stop
now.
now. They're winning, so they just want to keep being fast and end the game. They're gonna keep the extra 4 pin over this extra 5, so a lot of players don't really see it, but Paradigm sees that 4 can help a little bit more because the extra 5 so in hand, it kind of overlaps a lot of tiles that Paradigm already has. Those 3s, like Paradigm can already use the 4.
Yeah, there's overlap in the hand and there's overlap in the discards as well. 4 and 5 already discarded by Chris Gong and Chunman as
Right.
well, so hard to make it happen, but takes the chi here. The discard not going to be the 3-so, so I'm sure you're proud of him.
It's a 3-so paraweight. That's actually, what's the word? Very unintuitive but a very sharp-sighted discard. So they're going to actually switch to the green dragon. There's only one left. No, wait, there's 0 left. The green dragon is a dead weight, so I guess this is mostly for safety.
Yeah, and it's going to be another dealer Ricci here for Light Pink Yoshi. Waiting on the 3. Doesn't find it on the Ipatsu draw, but still 1 left in the wall and 3 in people's hands.
Yeah, I guess Paradigm switched to the safe tile just in time. Just before Light Pink Yoshi Ricci, Paradigm has the completely safe tile there. 7-pin. It looks good, but it's actually in everybody else's hand. No more 7-pin left for Chunman. That's tough for him. 3-man, there's still 1 left.
Light Pink Yoshi.
Oh, Dora, yeah, and Paradigm not willing to discard Dora.
Makes sense.
Oh, a deal-in tile. Paradigm's running out of tiles. When you're facing 2 Richis and Chris Gong, who's been discarding some interesting tiles, this is very difficult. Tough spot for Paradigm.
Really hard call to make. Breaks up the sequence.
Yep.
Which, great technique.
Definitely won't deal into Yoshi, but that 6-0 could have dealt into Chunman. And that's what makes it so difficult to play against multiple players on the table.
Yeah. Because up until this point, it could look like Chunman was waiting on a 6-9 of bamboo there.
Right. So this is going to keep Chunman ahead of Chris Gong, and Light Pink Yoshi still slowly clawing his way back. The 1,500 points here. Lost 1,000 to the Ricci, so it's like really 500 point up. But definitely now a Mangan gets Light Pink Yoshi into 3rd place no matter who he wins it from. Maybe even 2nd place? 3,600 bonus points? Yeah, Light Pink Yoshi gets to 2nd place with a Mangan no matter who it hits. So this is...
And looking around the table, there's nothing too scary at the moment, nothing too fast. Paradigm with the ability to open their hand here with the North Winds if they so choose. Or no, sorry, they're both dropped there, so never mind. But still, a relatively fast hand for Paradigm here, keeping those North Winds as a pair perhaps, or maybe for safety. So, going to be the Tenpai found there. Again, those North Winds are dead, so the 1-so is what Paradigm's kind of waiting on.
Yeah, I mean, Paradigm being Tenpai already is crazy. Didn't even reach it. This is going to be... It's like a sneak attack. Although the Norths are gone, so it's only the 1-so. But it is really a sneak attack. I think
it's a huge sneak attack. I mean, he built a pure straight in 1 row of discards. That is incredible.
Yeah. It's 2 Han? Yeah, I don't see a 3rd Han in the hand. But Paradigm doesn't
Ricci
really
coming
need
out
the
from
points.
Chris Song. Light Pink Yoshi deciding whether or not to pawn, decides not to. So Ipatsu chance is still open for Chris Gong, waiting on the 6 or the 9 of characters here.
Yeah, now there's really tough decisions for Light Pink Yoshi, because if it's very dangerous, you don't want to risk dealing in.
Ooh.
Because there is a reasonable chance that Light Pink Yoshi moves on even with a 4th place.
Right.
But if the 4th place becomes too low, then you definitely won't move on. But that being said, there is still a chance that a 4th place is not enough to move on if other players make a lot of points. So you're definitely playing what is more risky, what is more reward at this point. Light Pink Yoshi's getting closer and closer to Tenpai, although the 2 white dragons are already out.
There's the one finally coming out.
Oh! That's tough. That is tough for Chunman. Definitely at risk now of being eliminated currently in 3rd place. So this is an exciting game. Both all 3, Light Pink Yoshi, Chris Gong, Chunman, all have a chance of being eliminated if they don't make some points here. Paradigm looks to be pretty safe. I don't think anything's going to happen to them, but you never know.
Yeah.
I can
this
see
game
some
especially.
Yakuman brewing right now.
Yeah, and that's definitely where these players' minds are probably going to start going, is to the larger hands that they need to get back into it, because this is the last game of the quarterfinals. So, it's going to be needed in order to stay in semifinals here.
I don't know if they necessarily need Yakuman per se, but I think any position that they can eke out, like Light Pink Yoshi needs probably Mangan. I'm sure he'd take a Yakuman if he could get it.
Yeah, Light Pink Yoshi currently in a pretty good standing in this hand right now. Has good shapes to complete and to Dora. So looking like it could be a Riichi there from Light Pink Yoshi. That Riichi looking a little bit more like a possibility, a little bit more valuable, because he doesn't have those dealer repeats to rely on right now.
Yeah,
So,
and if Chris Gong wins a tiny hand, he's still got to be worried because it does not end the game.
リーチです
Actually, Chris Gong's not even in first place, so it wouldn't end the game anyway. But Chris Gong will have to play another hand if he wins a small one. Chunman looking for this victory. All these players trying to find second place. That's the new goal. Second is the new first place right now for
Yep.
3 of our players. And I mean, Yoshi's 1 away. So Yoshi can find it, especially with 2 Dora in hand. The Mangan is easily there. It's not it though, but it helps.
something to call out there is that the White Dragon was dropped by Light Pink Yoshi, and Paradigm, who has been opening their hand over and over again this whole tournament, does not call the White Dragons, keeps it as a safety deposit in his back pocket for folding and staying in first and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
This is
the 4 being
Tenpai.
drawn.
I mean, I don't see Yoshi discarding that 4-mon. It makes no sense. Only the 2-pin makes sense, but he's thinking whether it's worth it. Gonna go with the Damaten.
Oh, and the
No.
4 comes out before anything can happen there for Light Pink Yoshi, so that's going to be the victory for this hand for Chunman.
ドラ
Riichi Pinfu Red 5. No Oradora being found, so just 3,900 plus his own Riichi stick there.
So Chunman does catch that second place. It'll be interesting to see whether it's enough come the end of the, like, when all the scores settle, when all the dust settles.
Yeah, it's only plus 2.3, so depending on how the other games turn out, it's going to really determine Chunman's placement. But here, Paradigm, very unique playstyle, a lot of calls and stuff like that, takes first place with plus 42.4. Chunman in second, plus 2.3. Chris Gong in taking third and that minus 14. And Light Pink Yoshi, who was in second place in the standings, but taking negative 30.7 here. So there might be a little bit of a change up when all is said and done.
Yeah, definitely a lot of those scores are going to be right on the border. Let's see what other games we have going here. Okay, we have this game here. We've got a lot of players that actually we weren't able to see yet, just the way the tables shook up. I don't think we've seen Suzume or Jaffa or Sonic's Vienna. So we've got 3 players we haven't really seen, and this game has already taken a turn. I think this is the first negative score we've seen today.
Yeah, I think on stream, this is the first negative that we've had. Ooh, took a negative score, I believe, earlier on. But it's going to be this Tenpai for Sonic's VN, waiting on the 5s of Bamboo and characters here.
Yeah, Sonic's currently, I believe, about 11th or 12th, so definitely a negative is not going to do it for them. They're going to need a lot of points. I'm pretty sure they generally need a first place here, so they're going to have to use their last dealer to dig all the way up. But they don't get this one.
ドラ猫
Yeah, it's going to be another hand 1 here for Suzume. Green Dragon Red 5 plus another 3,900 points there with the repeats.
Yeah,
And this is really, really significant here for Suzume because they were in 3rd place heading into this game, and they are looking like, if things stay the way that they are, definitely going to move on to the semifinals, and those points in the semifinals are not reset, they are halved. So
Yep.
all the points that Suzume wins here is just gonna add on and on to the semifinals. So definitely makes sense to be pushing for hands where they can now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jaffa being currently last place in the standings, losing that last dealership, it's gotta hurt a lot because it's gonna be very hard to get first place in this game without a deal. Like, Sonics has about 18,000 less points, 19,000 less points, but Sonic still has their dealer turn. And it looks like they might still be able to hold on to it here. Act is a pretty interesting situation as well. I believe Act is near the cusp themselves. Yep, 7th place at plus 17.9. So I think 2nd place will do for them. They don't want to fall into 3rd, that's for sure.
Yeah, 2nd place feels relatively comfortable for the active right now.
Right.
Especially going into this. And as of right now, a pretty comfortable lead for that 2nd place alongside Suzume right now. So the active probably feeling a little bit comfortable here right now. As we look around the table, Suzume has some good shapes in their hand. Probably a little less willing to open themselves up to danger, sitting in that 1st place spot. And Sonic's VN gonna not go for all triplets here, it seems. Just gonna go for some tile acceptance.
I think it's a bit of a mistake to hold all these wins, but I guess none of them have been discarded except the East, and obviously Sunix is East, so they have even more incentive to keep the East. But losing the extra 7 feels a little bit inefficient, and we can see Suzumi trying to, I guess, be the most efficient, being in 1st, trying to shut this down very fast. Suzumi can only win on the 4-pin here, not the 1-pin. They didn't Riichi. So the only Yaku they have is the twin sequence, the pure double sequence. Ipeiko.
Yeah, not a bad thing to go for in this situation. Gonna be interesting to see how Sonic's VN tries to continue this hand here.
Yeah, I wonder if the Riichi is worth it, honestly, to be able to win on the 1. So just so you can increase your chance of winning. But Suzumi doesn't want to take the risk. I mean, it's, to be fair, Suzumi's in a spot where as long as nothing huge goes wrong, they'll be okay. So playing it safe seems pretty reasonable. We'll see if anybody else can take advantage of the slight slowness of Suzumi to catch up. Yeah, especially the South. That's a tile Suzumi did not want to see. Might end up folding on this one.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing here. It does look like they're going to fold with that, because it looks like the only, solid game plan for Sonex's hand here is just to pawn both wins and wait on the East and just go for, a strange half flush.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 5 solos have already been called, so
right.
To get rid of the 6,
so like
7,
dropping the 6 and the 7.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
It's a weird path for sure.
Oh, well, it would have been a win had it been a Riichi earlier, but in this case, Suzumi is allowed to hold on to the South, and so the I guess the penalty for that is that Suzumi can't win on the 1 pin they just drew. I don't think the South is coming out now, though, after all this.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, the plus side for Sonics is that now that they're Tenpai, they will get a redeal. And I mean, there's still a South and a North both in the wall. There's still chance. Oh, there's one. Only a South remains. Yeah. That's not it, unfortunately, for Sonics. Nobody else is Tenpai, though.
Yeah. And the active not willing to drop the White Dragon there intelligently.
Yeah. Well, that's 3,000.
Not bad for Sonics here, especially with the potential comeback. It would be super hype. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's two Dora. At first, I thought they were both 1-mon. So it's like, that's a nice pair of them, but they're actually a 1-mon and a 5-mon. That's not as good, unfortunately. But if Sonics can use both of them, that's a lot of value.
Yeah, the best starting hand out of the lot seems to be Suzume, continuing their good luck here.
ポンです。
But the South is going to come out and it's going to be pawned by V-Active, who decides to get some speed going, along with maybe finding the 2-mon to complete the 1-2-3 with the Dora there. So, still some competition left for Sonic's VN to try and hit anything other than last place right now.
Yeah, definitely Sonics and Jaffa both can only be happy with first here. And they're the furthest away right now, so they have to really send it. They have to take the biggest risks, give it all they've got, and play the best Mahjong they can if they want to make this miracle happen. See Jaffa maybe going for 9 gates here? There's
That
too many
would be
9s
incredible,
gone.
but
Yeah, there's too
yeah.
many 9s so gone to make 9 gates, unfortunately. But maybe at least a full flush or something.
The dream could come true. You never know. But Suzume is still in a commanding lead here, still having the hand likely closest to completion. That 5 is going to be a great setup for a 3-6-9 weight in the circle suit. So a very wide acceptance here. So very likely to find what he needs here, especially with all this this flow.
Whoa, there it goes though.
There it goes.
Yeah, I mean, Suzume didn't have to reach this one. And this time it actually is Pinfu, so it works out. That's tough for Sonics though, even more than Act. I mean, I think Act is fine with getting second place here. But
Yeah.
Sonics and Orange, both of their dealer turns have been dashed by someone else dealing into someone else. And I don't really see the Yakuman here in South 4 that they would need. But Jaffa's gonna try for it. I mean, you have to. It's all you've got. It's the only chance.
Sometimes you gotta push your luck, you know?
Yep, and this is one of those cases. We'll see if any Yakuman will come to our players today. I mean, maybe 9 gates shows up for Jaffa Orange, just like last time they were trying it.
Who knows? Just start building on those.
Okay, that's another
booth
wind.
houses.
It's another wind.
Yeah.
There's too
another
many
wind.
souths gone though already. I mean, yeah, and there go too many norths. Wait, Jaffa didn't call the north. The last north.
Looking for a sneakier half flush,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah, maybe a Kazoe Yakuman. The
There you go. The counted
counted
Yakuman.
Yakuman. Just because there's so many souths gone, it's not possible to do it anymore. So I guess this makes sense.
Yeah, maybe trying to look for a use for that west wind that's in their hand right now.
Right, a shiny Dora.
Hard to say though, but definitely possible to come together, especially with the way that it's built out now. Those dragons are gonna maybe weigh down the hand a little bit. One of them's already discarded. It's gonna be
Okay, here
Richie
comes
for
Reach.
Sonic's VN. Not giving up just yet.
Yep. I'm not sure that's gonna do it, but we'll see just how many Urodora, maybe Khans, can fly out on the table. Act is looking to maybe fight this? Yeah, that's a reasonably safe tile. Oh, Suzume
Wow,
decides to
Suzume?
reach here.
The Richie, alright. Waiting on the 4-7 of bamboo.
They've been playing extremely safe, but I'm pretty sure they don't really fear a Ricci from Sonic's VN right now. But what if it's a Yakuman, right? what if Sonic's had a Yakuman? I'd be a little bit scared. If you see last place Ricci, But the problem with Suzume is they can't win without Ricci. They don't have any Yaku.
Yeah, well, the other problem is that all 4 sevens are locked into Jaffa Orange's hand right now, so that might be a complication.
Yeah, I mean, there's some 4s. There's still 2 4s. So,
Yeah, you know, yeah, it could happen.
I mean, oh, there's one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, Suzume
That's
had
gonna be it.
3 of Sunny X's 3-mon locked up as well. So it is
No
it is what
Uradora,
it
but
is.
close to having 3. So that is gonna be this game. I believe we have one more game to go to.
That's right.
But for this game, it's gonna be Suzume with a commanding lead at plus 52.5. Be active, not doing too bad for himself either, with plus 13.2. Java Orange at negative 18.4, and Sonex VN at negative 47.3.
All right,
You know-
one game still running. You're right.
I think it has a certain somebody in that game. Staff has reminded us that this last game has the People's Champion, Ipatsu Johnny.
Ipatsu Johnny is in 3rd place right now.
Not doing too bad. Couple more Ipatsus might get first. Who knows?
That's true. No more dealers for him though, so that's going to be a tough order, but still
Yeah.
possible. This game is at least 2nd place is pretty close. Eligius has 1st place locked down pretty well. But look at the
Yeah.
standings. Eligius needs this first. They're minus 24.2.
Yeah, currently in 11th.
Yeah,
So
they're on
very
the cusp.
substantial.
They are on the cusp of making it to top 8. Red Panda is on the cusp of elimination though, 6th place. And currently in last right now. Ipatsu Johnny's gonna need a lot though. At minus 51.8. Ipatsu Johnny's gonna be looking for Yakuman back to back.
Very true. And a nice pickup here for Legis.
Yeah,
They dropped this head the
looks like
east.
the rich might end up getting richer on this one. Red Panda's hand is pretty good here though. This could be a huge upset if Red Panda makes this. Dora.
Yeah, with the 6, 7, 8 mixed triple sequence, but the 1, 2, 3 gonna be able to get made here.
And a Bobrick with a very aggressive Dora discard. I guess because Red Panda did it recently. Like normally when you have 7 pairs, you usually collect all the Dora.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Bobrick wants the better weights. The weights that are harder to read, easier to score.
Yeah, Legis with a really interesting decision here. Deciding to call Ricci on the 5 rather than the 1. Not gonna try and wait on that double-sided weight with Dora, but instead gonna take the 1-4 because 2 Dora are already gone. And the waiting on terminal tile might just be a little bit sneakier, but Red Panda finds their own Tenpai here, calling Ricci, waiting on the 5-8 of circles. And the 8's gonna get dropped immediately by Legis, so Red Panda finds this victory.
That would
It's
have
gonna be
been
a big hand.
that would have been mixed triple sequence if they had been a little more greedy. They decided to discard the 8-mon instead of the 5-mon because the 8-mon is a little bit safer. Could have been a potential Hanemon, but it works out for them so far. Yeah, it's the difference between 3rd place and 2nd place here. I wonder if that's going to matter as we go into South 4. If they had just
Red Panda
greeded a
now.
little more.
Red Panda looking at a great hand, potentially for half outside hand here. Maybe a mixed triple sequence with 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Some
maybe
really
even-
powerful stuff. You're gonna open it up and just go for it.
It's easy enough to switch the pair weight to a terminal tile and even get full outside hand here. And that's basically a Mangan for Red Panda. I wonder if,
All right.
yeah, I wonder if there are any competitors around on these other hands. Bobrick, maybe. Oh, I mean, that's good for Ipatsu Johnny. Okay, this might not be guaranteed for Red Panda here.
Yeah, Bilbrick finding some shapes. Ipatsu Johnny doing well, especially looking pretty shiny over there, and just what they need to try and get back into this game.
This is definitely a tense South 4 because
There's a lot riding on it.
these scores matter a lot.
And it's not just for these players, but these scores matter for all of the other players where these results are so close where even second places for some players weren't enough to guarantee. So the way that things fall out here might determine placements for players that were in other games.
It's like watching a playoff game when you're in the wild card race. You're hoping to get that last slot. That's just how it goes. Bobrick gonna go for 7 pairs here. Interesting.
I'm down for it. Bulbrick, of course, said in the pregame their favorite Yaku is 7 pairs, and you know what? If you can go for 7 pairs.
Oh, they hit a triplet though. Might have to turn back around. Turn this ship back. Yep, Bobrick's turning this ship back around.
I will turn this Mahjong hand around, young man. Says Bulbrick as another good tile comes into Legis' hand here. A little bit of an upgrade. Might drop 3. We'll see. Yep. But it's the 3 that Red Panda needs. So now the coveted 1-2-3 mixed triple sequence gets completed, and now the once cut Southwind is all that they need. But Bulbrick is in 10 pie for the 3-6.
Yeah, 2 players tip. Oh no, 3 so.
Oh, the 3
It's the 3 so with a little thank you from Bobrick. The power of 3 so. The quarterfinals ends on 3 so.
That is the second time tonight Bobrick has come out with just barely a second place.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where the standings lie now. Legis with plus 34.1, Bobrick plus 2.4, Red Panda at negative 11.4, and Ipatsu Johnny at negative 25.1.
Whew.
So some good games here. So we had the game 3 results here. The first game that we watched, Light Pink Yoshi Chris Gong taking negative scores here. Paradigm taking it by a wide margin with plus 42.4, and Chunman coming with plus 2.3. At the next table that we just watched, of course, Legis with plus 34.1, Bulbrick taking in 2.4, and then Red Panda and Ipatsu Johnny going negative there. V-Active and Suzume going positive on their game. Sunix VN and Jeff Orange taking negative scores. And then Sparrowhawk with, I think, their third first place out of these 3 games.
That's
so
huge.
I would expect them to be first again. And of course, as we've been saying, semifinal scores are not reset. They're halved. So all these points that Sparrowhawk has gotten really, really racking things up there. And then it's going to be Buckets with a smaller second place there with plus 2.9. With Ooh and Suli both sadly going negative there. And I believe they were on the right side of the standings in the first place. So we're going to get our standings here locked in after this. But there's still some more stuff to come. So here is your top 8. Tips, you want to take it away?
All right. So we have Suzumi making it first place. Congratulations, Suzumi. Plus 95. Sparrowhawks 3 firsts. Didn't quite add up to Suzumi's insanely large plus 50 in that last hand. But Sparrowhawk with a very nice second place score there. As we mentioned, Paradigm was collecting a bunch of points in their last game to come in third. Bulbrick, congratulations on making it through in 4th. V-Active, 5th place. Chris Gong makes it in 6th. Light Pink Yoshi still makes it through just barely. Congratulations. 7th place. And Red Panda, our last qualifying player. Round of applause to all of our top 8. Woo! And of course, still a round of applause to those who are eliminated. Legis tried super hard in that last game. Got a really nice first, but it was just 0.6 points short. 600 points short, Legis. Chunman also, that second place was not quite enough to make it through at plus 6.9. Our 14 U's are eliminated as well. Suli, Bucket, Sun XVN, Ipatsu Johnny, Jaffa Orange. You know, congratulations for making top 16. And thank you for participating. You will be receiving a fortune charm come the end of the tournament. But we can only move through to tomorrow with 8 players. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We're not quite done yet. While our games may be done, we do have one more lucky draw. So let's see. At the end of the night, who's still lucky? Who's feeling lucky? Who's still with us? Tenhote, how are you feeling?
Well, I don't know if I'm feeling lucky, but I'm sure a chat member is probably feeling pretty lucky right now. So we're going to ask you a question, then you can leave your comment below in the chat there for a chance to win the fortune charm for 30 days. So if you win, contact us by email at mjs.cs@yo-star.com. Don't forget the dash. So our question for you, Tips, I think I have one. In today's tournament, which player impressed you the most?
I like
Put it
that
in the chat.
one.
Let's know. Let's figure it out. Tips, you have a player in mind who impressed you the most?
Oh, I was really excited by those end game plays there by Paradigm. You know, getting the score. I know, so they were probably qualified, but they were looking to make the plays that would get them the biggest score for tomorrow. So it's always good to think about not just your goal. Of course, you need to look at your most recent goal, like the goal that's right in front of you. But if you have that kind of lockdown like Paradigm did, then you got to think about what's going to get you a win in the whole tournament. And because the score matters all the way down to the end, it was cool to see Paradigm trying to maximize their points there.
Well, you stole my answer. I was also going to say Paradigm because I just thought that, you know, everyone else keeping their hands closed, going for reaches, all that sort of stuff. Paradigm opening their hand, being very willing to change with the pace of what they needed, not necessarily of like these rules and hard set things or whatever, just going with the flow. Really, really interesting. If I had to pick a second player, I'm probably picking Bobrick because a lot of 7 pairs coming from Bobrick. You know, I respect that. So, you know, 7 pairs users unite.
I mean, we can have the same pick. That's acceptable. All right. Well, it looks like our chat has also had many different players. Actually, there are a lot of different fans. You know, we had fan favorites, but it seems like we had some fans. We had a cheering section for basically all of our players here in the chat. A lot of different names, but we can only pick one lucky Janchi for the fortune charm. It's Ice Fire Bot, who's been cheering for Light Pink Yoshi. Well, Light Pink Yoshi made it through. You'll see him tomorrow. He just barely caught on in 7th place. So congratulations, Ice Fire Bot, and congratulations, Light Pink Yoshi. We will be seeing Light Pink Yoshi tomorrow, and Ice Fire Bot, you'll be seeing a fortune charm on your account for 30 days. Make sure to email Mahjong Soul, mjs.cs@yo-star.com. Include your YouTube ID and your Mahjong Soul ID, the number in your friends list for your ID. Congratulations. Woo. Now, our top 8, their scores will be halved going into the semifinals tomorrow. So this is what we're looking at. We've got Suzumi. It's going to start with 47.5, and Red Panda at the bottom is going to be starting with 5.25. So about a 42-point difference between first and last. That's like a really big first place. So definitely you can make up the advantage in one game, but it's definitely not negligible. So Red Panda, Light Pink Yoshi, they've got their work cut out for them if they want to make top 4. But it's definitely doable. Alright. That being said, Tennote, anything you'd like to add before we it out for the day.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed quarterfinals here for Catfood Bowl. Please be sure to come back for semifinals tomorrow. All the more excellent Mahjong action going to be happening. So this is going to be me signing off, but tips and tricks, take us out.
All right, so here we have the semifinals. You can see them right there. They're tomorrow, same time, same place. If you're afraid you're gonna miss it, make sure to follow Mahjong Soul _EN on X, Mahjong Soul EN on Facebook. There's no underscore in that one. And join the Discord, discord.gg/Mahjong Soul, where people will be talking all about the Catfood Bowl, and you definitely won't miss tomorrow. Thank you to all the viewers today. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks to all the players that played. Hope to see you all tomorrow as well, either in the chat or on the tables. And from all of us at Catfood Studio, Yostar, and Reach Mahjong of New York, see you in the semifinals.